the internet to learn about YouTube, network with other content creators, and have an awesome time doing it. My name is Nick, and today I'm answering your YouTube questions. So questions that you have about YouTube and growing on YouTube and getting subscribers and live streaming and cameras and all of that stuff that we do as content creators. So how this works is it is 100% free. There's a form down in the description below this video, this live stream, and you can go down there and you can put your question in the form, and it's a first come, first serve. So if you are seeing this part of the stream while we are live, that means you are part of the early bird club. And because of that, you can go ahead down there and you can go ahead and get your question in the form. And I can pretty much guarantee that it's going to get answered as soon as I get to it, because we don't have hardly any questions in there right now. So make sure that you go down there and you put your question in the form right now. I also want to let you know that this stream is brought to you by TubeBuddy. TubeBuddy is the #1 browser plugin for YouTube content creators. TubeBuddy will help you tag your videos with awesome recommendations on tags that you should be using for your specific videos. They will help you find awesome topics for your videos using the related topic next to the or inside of the Keyword Explorer, as well as help you optimize your videos so that you can increase your chances of discovery. In addition to that, they also have an SEO studio so that if you're ranking videos in search specifically, so that you can make sure that you're putting together all of your metadata in an awesome way, an effective way. And one of my favorite tools inside of TubeBuddy is they also have an A/B testing tool, because we all know as content creators how important it is to test your thumbnails, right? With their A/B testing tool, they will show you to where you can compare basically two thumbnails against each other. They'll show you the click-through rates, the impressions, the watch time difference that you get between the two. They'll show you the average view duration difference, because, you know, you're creating that expectation as people come into your videos. They even show you which thumbnails perform better in which traffic sources. So if you're wanting to get more suggested traffic, this will help you. If you're wanting to get on more home pages, this will help you. If you're wanting to rank your videos in search better, this will help you. But you can install it, as you can see at the very top of the screen. You can install it free at TubeBuddy.com/Nimmin. If you have under 1,000 subscribers, they do offer a discount. This stream is co-sponsored by StreamYard, which is the platform that I'm live streaming this on right now. And StreamYard is the easiest live streaming platform on the face of the planet. And with StreamYard, you can actually simulcast to different locations. You can just go to any location if you want to. It covers all the major social media sites. All you have to do is just create a broadcast once you log in, and then you are pretty much ready to go. You connect your camera and you're good to go. But the really cool thing about StreamYard is they also make it really easy to invite guests into your show. You can just copy a link right down here at the bottom and send them a link, and they can come in like I do here on Saturday. And I had some more stuff in there as well. But hey, that's where we're at right now. But anyway, you can do that at StreamYard.com so that you can see how easy it is to live stream with StreamYard. So really quick, I just want to say what's up, Paul Peck Drywall in the house. What's up, man? Nice to see you hanging out here in the chat. Doug Houston, YT, what is up? Nice to see you here as well. Midnight Terror 890 official. What is up? Nice to see you here. Life with Lonnie. What is going on? Christian White, SOS Paranormal, Muhammad Me, Schmuck PUBG says, like the stream, guys. What is going on, everybody? I hope that you had an awesome weekend. The Artistic Per, what is up? Nice to see you here as well. Now, again, I'm answering your questions. So if you have a question about what it is that you're doing, make sure that you put it down on the forum right now, because as you know, people are coming in here and all that good stuff. You want to make sure that you're at the top of that list, because if you're at the top of that list, guess what? Your question is going to get answered. So go ahead and get your question down in the forum right now. Now, another thing that we are going to do now, well, you know what? We're just going to save some of that. Maybe instead we are just going to go ahead and hop down into the form here, and I'm just going to go ahead and start answering your questions. So we can just go ahead and get this party started. What do you think of that? Happy week. Happy Saturday. Good morning, depending on where you are, and good afternoon, depending on where you are, and good evening, depending, and night, you know, for us over here in Asia. So good night for everybody else. Okay, so the very first question we have is from Aviation Flight Simmer Pro. Thank you for your question. And it says, what kind of channel do you have? It's a gaming / no copyright music channel. And the goal of the channel is in order to provide fun content for people to enjoy. And the question is, I attempt to start live streaming. It was of a video game which is horrendous in terms of the CPU usage. So when I began streaming using Streamlabs, the output on YouTube looks stuttery and there are missing gameplay frames. We average around 60 megabyte per second download speed, 15 up. So what can I do to stream this game? However, it looks smooth for viewers. Okay, so what you're gonna have to do when you have a limited internet connection, you're uploading videos, or if you're live streaming, then one of the things that you have to do is you have to work around it. So in your particular case, one of the things that I would definitely do if you did not try this already is if you're trying to stream out at 1920 by 1080, I would reduce the frame size first. If that doesn't improve things, then in that case, I would start lowering your bit rate and see if you can, make improvements that way. Because typically, it's one of those two things that will end up, having that heavy load on your computer. And it's one of those things that will end up, kind of making everything laggy and dropping frames and stuff like that. And if you're currently pushing up at 60 frames per second, then in that particular situation, CD Comedy, what's up? Nice to see you in here. But if you are pushing up, like 60 frames per second, and I know in the gaming world that that's, what you typically want to do. But if you're pushing up 60 frames per second, then you might also want to reduce the frame rate that you're pushing your stream up to the internet as well. Next question on the list is from Normal Mode. Normal Mode, thank you for the question. I appreciate it. Gonna have a quick coffee here to keep us all rolling. How many people are here drinking coffee right now? I know it's Saturday morning over there in the States for all you people over on the East Coast. I know you're probably just waking up right now. How many people here are waking up having their early morning coffee? For me, it's like 7:58 p.m. and I'm having my fourth cup of coffee for the day, fifth cup of coffee maybe, trying to stay awake, trying to stay focused, all that good stuff. We got some people in bed. We got some me's. Good. Well, cheers to those of you that are having coffee, tea, or whatever your favorite beverage happens to be. Cheers to you. All right. So our next question that we have here on the list is from Normal Mode. And Normal Mode says that they have a video game reviews and list channel. The goal of the channel is to make videos that that make people laugh or think differently about games. What is your question? Says, I recently changed my name to Normal Mode. And while I feel it's better now, it no longer appears in search. Is it better to have a memorable name or one that comes up when searched for? So here's the thing. It will come up in search. Eventually, if it's not coming up in search right now, it will. Just make sure that you are adding the Normal Mode name to your About Me page as well. Just give a little bit of a blurb about yourself. Here on the Normal Mode channel, we do XYZ. And then just keep making videos. And then very soon, you're going to see the new version pop up on YouTube as well. Now, one thing that can work against you, even if you have the actual channel name, if people are not looking for the channel and they just type in Normal Mode, if there's something about Normal Mode in terms of a video topic and those videos are on heavy authority channels, then in that particular case, one of the things that can happen is they end up taking the juice and all of their videos show up, or a nice handful of other videos show up on that specific term. And then therefore your channel ends up being, further down because the name is extremely common or something like that. So in your particular case, just keep uploading videos because eventually you'll gain that authority, but rather quickly, as long as you add it to your About Me page and you just keep uploading, you should be okay in terms of it, showing up when people look for it in YouTube search. Next question. Next question is, let's see here. I'm just going to go ahead and do that. So the next question is from Studio 14 Sessions. Studio 14 Sessions says that they have been on YouTube they upload one time per week or more. The channel is Tips and Strategies for Music Educators. That sounds cool. And the goal of the channel is to grow music education by growing the people in it. That's cool, right? Educating your crowd there so that you can grow it. That's smart. And the question is, I noticed that some of your playlists have videos by other creators. What's the benefit of doing this, if any? And is that creator notified when you do this? So no, the creator isn't notified when you do that. However, if you do have a playlist that is getting traffic, and what I mean by that is if you have people or if you're driving traffic into that playlist and that other channel notices a spike in traffic, or they're just in their analytics looking to see, where their traffic is coming from, then they will see in the playlist, they will see the actual playlist itself, and they will be able to click into that playlist, and then they'll see the playlist, their videos in it, your channel, all that good stuff. Now, the cool thing with playlists is you can add any video on the platform into a normal playlist. So you can add any video on the platform. You can add my videos to your playlist. You can add, let's see here, Penny Morgan live positive, videos in your playlist. You can add El Diago VR's videos in your playlist. You can add Tech Review 2000s into your playlist. And that's an awesome thing about YouTube is it allows you to curate content like that. Now, when it comes to a strategic standpoint, one of the things that you can do in that situation is YouTube has a thing, and they talk about this in the YouTube Creator Academy. But basically, the idea is that they are recommending content to viewers based on things that they commonly watch. So one of the things that you can also do is if you have the power with your YouTube channel to drive traffic into a playlist of where people are watching your videos back to back with some other people, as long as those people aren't like too far out of reach, then in that situation, you can slowly over time start creating data relationships between that content as long as people continue to go in that playlist and they continue to, watch videos, back to back in that situation. And that's advantageous because then in that situation, what you're doing is you're creating that relationship between videos. But keep in mind, this is going to take a lot of traffic. So if you're just starting, I wouldn't even worry about this right now. But that's just something that you can do in terms of like a really long game thing. Like, hey, this playlist right here is about just general whatever about content that I make, music or music education. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start curating, in addition to the content that I make, I'm going to start curating some playlists of some other people who do something similar, so that I can start driving people into these playlists so that they can just see my playlist as a resource, so they can keep coming back to them and things like that as well. So hopefully that worked that out for you. Now, next question that we have here on our list is from Big Mike Gaming, and we had a super chat come in. Super chat is from Gamer Gramps. What's up, Gamer Gramps? Thank you for that, man. Says, hey, looks like I'm going to cross 10,000 in a few months. I was wondering if you had any specific tips or strategies to focus on between 10,000 or 50, or if it would just be more of the same. Thanks in advance. Here's the thing. Once you get YouTube pretty much figured out, then it comes down to, in terms of, people responding to what it is that you're doing, then it comes down to the actual content decisions. It comes down to trying to get people to watch more of your content and trying to get people more involved in what it is that you're doing so that they keep coming back more and more. So what I mean by that is if you haven't yet, I would definitely, start trying to get like a tribe name together, like a squad name, because people like that, right? They respond to that. Another thing that I would do as well is I would go through and I would look at all the videos that have performed well for you that brought people in. And I would say, okay, well, these are the ones that brought people in. These are the ones that are driving more subscribers. If you're trying to just grow the subscribers on your channel, then these are the ones that are, converting the most subscribers. So if I'm trying to fast track 10 to 50, then in that case, I'm going to double down on the content that's proven to drive subscribers for me. Now, other things that you can do is, you've got some momentum going now. You're at 10,000 subscribers. So you can actually start, looking at your content and thinking to yourself like, okay, I got some people watching this stuff. Every video I upload, I'm getting like X amount of views. So let me start experimenting. Remember, you're still going after that same audience, right? It's important to make sure that you're going after the same people, but you can think to yourself, okay, with the people that are watching my content, sure, they're into, my games, but what other creative things can I do with my games that the people that are watching my videos might really dig? And then you can start, experimenting to see if you can find something that'll fast track you even faster to get from that 10 to 50,000 milestone much faster. But that really comes down to, just your experimentation and your creativity more than it does anything in terms of your ability to come up with something to where it would be a good fit for your audience. Like, for example, a lot of people are doing like the reaction stuff now because it seems to work well. So, that's something that a lot of people are doing. But, at the end of the day, if you're doing gaming content, I would definitely make sure that whatever got you to 10,000, that you keep delivering that to your audience, because that's stuff that your audience, that's stuff that brings people in and converts them into subscribers for you. Gamer Gramps also sent another super chat saying, let's see here. Let me change my mouse. Saying, do you still do paid consultations? Pricing is not an issue. I realize I have to pay for the value. Yes, my tribe name is my geezers. Nice. So right now I'm not doing consultations because I'm focusing my efforts right now on finishing my course up so I can, help more people at scale. Once that's finished and I have one more web project that I'm working on, then I'll probably start doing more consultations again. But right now I'm actually not offering that. But I recommend Roberto. I recommend Daniel Batal. I recommend Brian G. Johnson. Of course, Tim Schmoyer, Daryl Eves, Sean over at Video Influencers. I think he still offers consultations as well. A lot of great people out there right now offering consultations. And you can even go directly to like TubeBuddy, for example. They also offer that as a service. So, you can even do, go that route as well if you would like to. All right. Let's see here. Prince Voodoo, thank you for the super chat saying hello world. Hello, Prince Voodoo. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Cloudy says, sorry, I'm late. I was doing homework. Hey, it's all good, man. No worries on that at all. Damo's Painting says, I just want to say hello and thanks for the advice through your videos. Thank you for swinging by. I hope that you're having an awesome Saturday. Renee Ritchie says, how high a priority should average views per user be at this point? I've added Legal Eagle style CDA to playlist at the end of videos, redid the playlist on my page. Anything else that you recommend? In terms of, getting people to come back to your channel, that's always important because, the more that people keep coming back to your channel, the more of a quality indicator that is for what it is that you're doing. Of course, you're satisfying the people that are running into your content, new viewers that are coming in. But, at the end of the day, you want to, when you publish a video, that you want as many of the people that are already involved in what it is that you're doing to be coming in anyway. So because of that, I would also, kind of like I was talking to Gamer Gramps about, I would also think about, the stuff that people are subscribing for right now. Like that's the stuff that I need to make sure that I'm focusing on. And I would go into your stats and I would look for the last 28 to 90 days. And I would see all the videos that are driving activity on your channel, the ones that are driving the most activity, in terms of hey, it doesn't matter if it's an old video, it doesn't matter if it's a new video, like the stuff that people are responding to right now over the last 28 to 90 days. And I would really start making more content that's directly related to that because that's the stuff that's driving your channel right now. It's the stuff that's moving everything forward because that's the stuff that's bringing in all those new people. So you have your current subscribers, right? You got to keep serving them, but then you also have all those new people coming in. So you want to make sure that you follow up with the stuff that they're responding to now so that you can, keep them coming back and clicking on more stuff since they're the people that are most recently involved in your channel. So because of that, that's what I would focus on right now is just the actual, the actual content itself. Because if you're already, doing the whole watch time trap thing to where you're sending people into directly into playlists from end screens and you're already sending them into your content through your playlists and your descriptions and you're setting up. If you're not doing that yet, make sure that, if possible, with the type of content that you make, actually set up the end screen. So as your video is coming to a close, don't let people know that it's over to a close, but verbally try to lead them into why that playlist is important that they should be clicking on. And in addition to driving people into that playlist, make sure that you're also using a best for viewer there because what you're doing, even though ideally you would want to send people into the playlist so they can watch more content, ideally you just want people to click into something there on your end screen that's related to you. So because of that, make sure that you're using a best for viewer as well. So then you're making your prediction on what's a good fit for your viewers. And then YouTube, which is better at predicting things, they're making their prediction as well with that best for viewer spot. Next. Let's see here, and I'll get into the forum right here in just a second. Let's see here. Fiscal Rangers Florida says, how can a political channel appeal when YouTube censors restricts a topic? For instance, a video showing alternate COV treatments like hydroxy. When it comes to them shutting your video down for something like that, I have no idea. I've never experienced that. I've never had to deal with something like that. So I'm not sure. If it was me, I would contact Team YouTube on Twitter. I would also go to Reddit and I would make posts on the YouTube subreddit there for the sake of, getting in contact with people that might be able to help you on that specific thing. Google also has their help forums, or YouTube has their help forums, to where you can actually go there and you can make posts as well. And then trusted Google, not flaggers, but trusted Google help people will give you, advice based on, the official, information coming, out of there for them helping. So because of that, I would actually take those avenues. And depending on your channel size, you might be able to just directly chat. So for example, some channels can just go and they can click chat, directly with live chat, and then they can, have those conversations there. But if they're taking you down because they feel your content's inappropriate or that it's misleading people, then really, unfortunately, in that situation, what it comes down to is them trying to kind of police, I guess is the word that I'm looking for. It comes down to them trying to, police and kind of protect people in terms of making sure that the information that they're getting is, official, instead of it being from just like a content creator on the internet, that it's coming from official, official sources, people that have degrees and, people that are actual, doctors and that sort of thing. Let's see here. Next up, we have Flame
Superchat.
There we go. Says Flame. Let's see here. Says, I decided to move my car videos from my main channel as it's all about geek and how-to guides. If I delete the car stuff, will it help my channel? So here's the thing. If you have those car videos that are driving views to you right now, they're driving consistent views, then in that situation, one of the things that is going to happen is if you are doing geek and how-to guides, of course, you want to think like, okay, if that's my future, then that's the content that I want to focus on. So I don't want to have any car content on my channel page. I don't want to be recommending any of the car content. And in the end screens of the car content, I'm actually going to be trying to drive people into the geek stuff to where you're going to not pay much attention to the car stuff. But if it is pulling in a lot of viewers for, some of your car videos, personally, I would leave them there. And the reason I would leave them there is because they're still bringing some people in. You might have some crossover, but I just wouldn't focus anything on that particular content. Now, if those videos aren't bringing in a lot of viewers, if they're not, performing well for you, then in that case, I would unlist them off the channel. But keep in mind, if you are, trying to stay in the partner program and your numbers are close, if you do delete those videos, you're going to, or unlist them, you're going to remove the public watch time from them. And because of that, if you get real close in the partner program to the requirements, and you have those videos deleted, then you're actually removing that public watch time. So you could technically be working against yourself in that situation. So make sure that you have plenty of watch time so that if you do unlist those videos, you're good to go. And then just keep driving forward on the new types of stuff that you're doing. And I lost, let's see here. There's a couple more that came in. Let me open up the thing here and I will get to those as well. But in the meantime, while those pages are loading, we got Big Mike Gaming. Big Mike Gaming says, the goal of the channel is for my enjoyment and hope to be monetized and hopefully make it a career one day. Sounds good. And the question is, I have a variety gaming channel and I am trying, there we go. I have a variety gaming channel and I'm trying to get more subs and more views, but I'm struggling to grow. I use TubeBuddy to try to optimize my uploads as much as possible. I don't know where to advertise my content. Groups on Facebook are pretty much sub for sub or view for view, and I don't want that. Question, where can I share my content where it's legit? And as a variety channel, a good idea? Thank you for your help. Okay, so great question. So thank you for this question, Big Mike Gaming. So when it comes to sharing your content off platform, absolutely you can, but it's important to make sure that when you are sharing your content off platform, that you're doing it right. So like you said, you're already in tune with this because you're like, hey, I don't want to share it in the sub for sub places and the view for view places. And that's the right approach, because when you do that, you're working against yourself. You're going to hurt your channel and it's against the community guidelines. So in addition to that, when it comes to sharing your content off platform, absolutely you can, but you just have to make sure that the people that you're sharing it in front of are a good fit. And the way that you do that is you just think to yourself, okay, the people in this group, the things that they're talking about, how likely would they be, in my opinion, how likely would they be to click on my video if it just showed up on their homepage? How likely would they be to be interested in this particular topic that I am talking about, in this particular video? If a lot of the content that you're putting out is something that's like, yeah, these people would love these videos, and you got to be objective here, but if it's like, yeah, these people would love these videos, then in that situation, they're a good fit, and you might want to embed yourself in those groups, not necessarily just sharing your content because you don't want to be a spammer, but you can embed yourself in those groups to where you become an actual community member, to where you're interacting with people there, people get to know you, and then when the occasion rises, then you drop a link to your video. If somebody asks, hey, I think you're doing gaming. Yeah, you're doing gaming content. So like, hey, I'm trying to beat this character, or I'm trying to do this specific thing. And then you can be like, oh, hey, I made a video about that. Here's a link if you want to check it out. So it's not something that you're using to really drive a lot of traffic. It's just something that you're doing to immerse yourself in the community. Now, with that said, YouTube is where your viewers are because of that. I know you said that you're struggling to grow right now, but here's the thing. When it comes to YouTube, you have to develop the skill to be able to generate organic traffic on YouTube. And what I mean by that is you have to learn to get people to click on your thumbnails and your titles. And then once they do, you have to be able to pull them through your video content at least to an acceptable level. And what I mean by that is, on some channels, they might just have to watch, 2.5 minutes of a 10-minute video. Other channels, they might need to watch 5 minutes or 8 minutes of a 10-minute video in order for it to be competitive for, the other options that people might have around that particular video. So because of that, Like, you need to start figuring out what's acceptable, but you don't know that yet because you're not getting any traction. So what you have to do is you have to start at the very front. You have to start at like topics. Okay, these are the things that I'm gaming about. So because of that, what's the interest like in these particular things? Am I making good choices when it comes to the specific games that I'm playing, when it comes to the things that I'm actually showing people in the games, or the type of content that I'm putting out? So like, for example, if I'm just on Let's Play content, it's going to be hard for people to find your Let's Play content if you're just getting started, because like that Let's Play content isn't going to just get distributed all over the place unless people come in and find it. But it's going to be difficult for people to just come in and find it if you haven't been able to get people to your channel in the first place. So because of that, what I would do if I had a gaming channel, and I actually recommended this to a friend and it works like a charm. But what I would do if I had a gaming channel is I would create one pillar of content that is like guides and it's like help content in terms of helping people do specific things in the game. That would be one pillar. And then if I was doing Let's Plays, the other pillar would be the Let's Plays. So I'd bring people in on that. And then I would, introduce them to the Let's Play content through that content because they're clearly interested in the game in that situation. So that's what I would do if I had a Let's Play channel. Now, another thing, just as a quick sidebar, is depending on what it is that you are doing in your game. Because when you say you have a gaming channel, there's a lot of different ways that can go. You can be doing Let's Plays, you can be doing specific tips, you could be doing, guides, you could be doing the thing where you're like walking maps and all that good stuff. So because of that, if you're doing something that is legitimately interesting, not like you sitting there playing the game, unless you're just super engaging. And when people come into your videos, they just stay there, which isn't happening, because then you wouldn't be having this problem. But if you get to that point, or when you get to that point, then in that particular situation, you can share your content out onto like Reddit, for example, in the gaming communities around your specific game. And depending on how that community is about people sharing links there, you might be able to get some traction from one of those sites as well. Excuse me. So I met up with Audrey. She has a YouTube channel about singing. Met up with her at Starbucks here locally. She gave me these, which I ate one before the live stream, told me the stretches to do, and they were fantastic. I did them yesterday so I could test it out, so I could do them before the stream, but I was running late today, so I didn't do the stretches before the stream. And because basically she watched the stream and she was like, look, when you come into your stream, like your throat's all crazy, your vocal cords are all crazy, like you can sound so much better when you start. And she gave me all these tips. I'm like, thank you so much. And I tried them yesterday and they're amazing. But then today I had one of those a little bit before the stream, but then I chased it with a bunch of coffee and all that stuff. I didn't warm up my vocal cords, so I'm kind of scratchy. So hang tight, bear with me. Okay, so next up on our list here, there was some super chats came in. I'm answering those right now. Let's see. There's that. Okay, so the very first one here, let me go back a little bit.
Super chat.
Okay, so Aramo Best, thank you for the super sticker.
Super chat.
Man of Hot Collectibles says, hey, Nick, I love your channel. Thank you. What advice do you have for channels that do unboxing and reviews to increase views and subs? You're in the same boat. Like you're in the same boat in terms of like, you got to do the stuff. So when it comes to YouTube, you have to go through the process. As a content creator, you have to go through the process of learning how to get people to respond to your thumbnails and titles and watch your videos. So when it comes to getting more views, if you want more views, first, you got to think of, okay, the people that I'm trying to reach with my content. What type of things do they really care about? So when I'm doing these reviews, I'm not just grabbing something and like, hey, here's a review of this mouse, but I'm thinking like, okay, this particular group of people, like, let's say you're doing tech reviews. Then in that case, it's like, okay, well, within tech, like what segment of the tech crowd am I really trying to get into, right? Like, for example, you'll see like with John Prosser, like you'll see him, he's doing like tons of phone stuff and things like that. And it's working out great for him. His community comes to him for, just Apple information and just, tech information. But one of the big wins for him is he also over time has developed to where he can get, like breaking information. So that makes his stuff real valuable. So because of that, now, after he's established himself, one of the things that happens now is when he makes a video, people flood in because they're like, oh, does he have something breaking, or, what's his opinion? Because he's extremely opinionated and all of that on this specific tech. So with all of that, though, in order for any of that to happen, he had to go through the process of learning how to get people to respond to his thumbnails and titles so that when they are being shown to people all over YouTube, when they click on them, then at that point in time, then he has the option to capture their attention. So what you have to do is you have to look at what is happening on your YouTube channel right now. If you're not getting people to click, then at the very first step, you have to sit back and you have to be objective and you have to look at your titles and thumbnails and you have to start defining exactly why people should click on the things that you're making. And just having a title like, review of the, Logitech mouse, whichever one this is, if it's review of the Logitech mouse, then in that situation, you're going to be competing with a lot of other people that are reviewing that Logitech mouse and that don't really know what's up and that are just using titles like review of the Logitech mouse. Now, if you were to do a review of the Logitech mouse, of course, you could have that in your title somewhere, but you have to go beyond that. You have to think, okay, if somebody's looking for information on this, or if this just shows up on somebody's homepage, if they're looking for information, it's going to be easy. But if this just shows up on a homepage or recommended next to another video, like what can I do with my title and thumbnail to push somebody over the edge to get them to click on this so that I can then have the opportunity to capture their attention with the video? So, one of those things would be to add a compelling element of some kind. So in this particular case, let's say I was interviewing. Hey, Mouse, what did you, how was your day today? Great. What made you, what made you get into mousing? Really? That's fantastic. That's fantastic. So this on-off switch on the bottom, was that like your idea or did that come from your manufacturers? Oh, really? That's great. Yeah, that's fantastic. Yes. Anyway, not interviewing mouses, but couldn't help myself on that. But anyway, if you are doing reviews, not interviews, if you're reviewing a mouse, then in that situation, you'd be like, the Logitech MX, mouse review. And then it would be like, you need to know this before you buy or something along those lines. It needs to be authentic, but you need to add something to it to where people are like, okay, I need to click on this. And you also need to think from your perspective of with every video, are you just making a video for the sake of reviewing the video? Or are you trying to make something happen? And what I mean is, if you are making if you're making a video and you are just trying to, get some views and get some subscribers, then in that particular case, what you got to think of is like, okay, now I got to think, how can I add value to these people so that they're going to subscribe to my channel and then they're going to keep coming back and all that good stuff. If you're trying to make something else happen, like, hey, I'm trying to get them to click on an Amazon link so that they'll go buy this mouse. Then in that case, then you have to think of, okay, when I'm titling this video, I got to think of what it is I'm trying to accomplish with this video so I can make sure I'm triggering people in the right way to try to get them to click on whatever it is that I'm doing. So for example, if you're trying to get them to buy this, then having a, watch this video before you buy, then in that situation, it creates that like, oh, maybe this person has, something that, that the other people aren't talking about. So I need to watch this one if I'm getting ready to purchase the mouse. But if you're just, doing it for the sake of people that just like tech and all that good stuff, then in that situation, you would need to package it a little bit differently for the sake of grabbing their attention. So what you have to do, and this applies to everybody, like everybody that's watching this right now, this applies to you too. Like this applies to all of us. Anybody making videos for YouTube, like we all have to do the same thing. Like it comes down to, think of your titles and your thumbnails like they are a billboard, right? Or like they're an ad in a magazine, or like they are a banner ad on the internet somewhere, like they're the ad that you watched, before you came into the stream if you saw one. So like you want to think of it like that and think like, okay, with all of these ads that are out there in the world that are trying to grab people's attention, like what do? How do they try to grab people's attention? First, any good marketer, any good advertiser first understands who it is that they're actually trying to get in front of, who it is that they're trying to bring attention to that product to, who it is that they're trying to advertise to. The reason for that is because those people know that if they deeply understand the people that they're trying to reach, then they can communicate with them in a way that they're going to respond to. YouTube is the same exact way. So when it comes to getting people to click on your titles and thumbnails, you have to think, okay, the people that I'm trying to reach, who are they? What types of things are they interested in? What kind of problems do they have? What types of things are they trying to figure out? What types of things are they trying to avoid? And how can I tap into all of that when I'm trying to get somebody to click on what it is that I'm doing? Okay. So that's what you need to do in order to, get more people clicking. Now from there, and I'm expanding on your question here, this one's going a little bit long, but the next thing that you have to do is that's just step one. right? That's step one. So once you get people to click on what it is that you're doing, then the next thing comes down to the actual videos themselves. So the thing that YouTube is trying to do is they're trying to generate as much watch time per impression, which basically means, if you're not familiar with that terminology, which basically means that for every time they show your video to somebody on the platform, they're wanting them to click it and they're wanting them to watch that video for as long as humanly possible. And when they watch that video for as long as humanly possible, that tells them, hey, people are enjoying this particular video because they're watching it for, a fair amount of time. So because of that, this is a quality experience for the people that come in. Now, if they comment, that's another point. If they like, it's another point. If they share it, it's another point. If they add it to a playlist, another point. If they come back and watch it again, it's another point. If they start it over, watch it again, it's another point. If they keep watching, little, parts inside of it, those are more points. So the idea is that you have to think, how can I give YouTube what it is that they want? Right? So you got them to click. That's number one. And since they're trying to get as much watch time per impression, if you can't get them to watch your video for a fair amount of time, even though you're good at getting them to click, then it's going to be a little bit more difficult for YouTube to show your videos to more people. If there's other people that are in your review space, which there are, that can get them to click and watch the video for a fair amount of time. So what you have to do at this point is you have to start going into your audience retention reports and you have to start going in, you know what? Oh, it's not on this computer. I was going to say, I just did a presentation yesterday. I was going to pull it up and just show you some graphs here, but it's on the other computer. But basically, like, what you have to do is you have to go into your audience retention reports and you have to start paying attention to, like, okay, when I do this in my videos, like when my videos first open up, do people leave? Do they stay? How long do they stay for? Like that first group, that graph in your audience retention reports, like when my video first opens up, what happens? How do people respond to that? And then if you see a lot of people leaving, then in that case, you got to say to yourself, okay, for whatever reason, people are leaving. So because of that, I need to figure out how I can grab people's attention better when my video first starts out. And then once you figure that out, then you got to start looking at that first like 30 seconds to a minute. And you're like, okay, people are leaving, after that first 30 seconds, maybe they're not getting what they're wanting. Maybe I'm taking too long to get to whatever it is that I'm sharing with them in the video. Maybe I'm showing too much B-roll. Maybe I'm showing, not enough. Maybe I'm talking about something that's high tech, but then my image quality looks bad. And because of that, people might be leaving. Maybe my audio sucks. Like, what is it? And you have to just go through the process of figuring out all of those things in order to pull people through your content, at a competitive rate. And then once you do that, then YouTube will start showing your content to more people. They'll start recommending your content next to other videos, and your channel will just do better overall because you're giving YouTube what it is that they want by giving viewers what it is that they want and what it is that they respond to. So that was really long, but hopefully that answered that question for you. Okay, next up on our list here, we have
Super Chat.
Reaper777 with a super sticker with a coffee super sticker. So I will take a quick drink. And then thank you for that, Reaper. And then we have Tudo Akaba M Game. Says, I have a games channel with only 7 months. I already have more than 6,000 subscribers. And this is with your tips. Thank you. I'm Brazilian. High five, fist bump to you. Oops. High five and fist bump to you for, crossing the 6,000 subscriber milestone and for, taking the information that you hear, putting it into play and getting the results. So high five to you. CJ Turf also dropped a super chat. So thank you, CJ, for that. And I think a few more came in. So before we move on, I'm just going to confirm really quick. Actually, while that's loading, I'm going to go ahead and pull another one from the forum because I know, people are adding these to the forum as well. So next up, we have Numita Classic WOW, World of Warcraft, I'm guessing in this situation. And hey, really quick, if you're not following me on Twitter and Instagram yet, make sure you do so. I've got, if you just go look for my name on those places, you'll find them. I'm posting some like motivational stuff on Instagram and on Twitter. That's like a great place just to interact in general. And if there's like a big update to YouTube and stuff, like that's where I share it. So make sure you follow me in both of those places. And the one right here in the middle, that's actually my email list. It's like my VIP club where I send out newsletters from time to time. Just keeping people up to date with what's going on YouTube, some tips, like that kind of stuff. I'm actually in the process of putting together like a whole sequence that's going to take you through the process of having like a deeper understanding of YouTube through that particular list. We're redoing the whole thing. So because of that, if you haven't yet, make sure that you go there and do that as well. Okay, so Numita Classic, Classic World of Warcraft says that they do gaming World of Warcraft Classic related. Goal of the channel is to educate, inform, and entertain about anything classic. WOW related. And the question is, hey, Nick, love your channel and your stream. Thank you. My question is about watch time. I always hear that watch time is important for YouTube, but no one ever gives numbers. What's a good watch time percentage? My videos are usually around 50%. Is that good? Thank you for your time. Man, I wish I had that. You know what? Here. I think it's actually just sitting. Oh, it's right here. Give me 1 second and I'll actually, un momento, por favor. Yeah, I got like these, you know, I got like graphs I can show and like all this other stuff. So I'm like, you know what, let's just go ahead and get this puppy out so that I can get these if need be. Okay, so when it comes to your audience retention, you know, of course, when it comes to Roger Wakefield in the house, what's up, dude? When it comes to Tim Yance, what's up, man? When it comes to your watch time, the idea is you want to basically compete with yourself. And I know that's not what you want to hear, but that's the idea. So you can have videos perform that don't have outstanding watch time. It happens. You can also have videos perform that, you know, perform exceptionally if you have a lot of watch time coming from those particular videos. But in terms of actual numbers, and this one is actually coming from, give me 1 second. Let me get the HDMI in here and I'll show you. This one is coming from a presentation that I did for Social Media Marketing World. And give me just a second here. And I'm not sure exactly how this is going to work out, but we're doing it on the fly. So we're going to hope it works out okay. Let's see here. So there's that. Okay. So when it comes to video length, to answer your question specifically, let's see how this is showing up. Boom. There we go. Okay. So in terms of what is normal. So based on some data that TubeBuddy put out, and I made a video about this, by the way. So if you were watching my videos for real, you'd know the answer to this. I'm on to you. But anyway, so when it comes to what is normal, the thing that I did at Social Media Marketing World, this information is coming directly from a bunch of data. I think it's across 40,000 channels from TubeBuddy, and basically what they found is that videos between a minute and 30 seconds and 2 minutes and 30 seconds average 59%, or a minute and 11 seconds worth of watch time. That's a sample size of 12,534 videos. Videos between 4.5 minutes and 5.5 minutes average across 15,000 videos is 45% average view duration, or 2 minutes and 19 seconds. And videos between 9.5 minutes and 10.5 minutes average 39.5%, or 3 minutes and 57 seconds. That's across 12,000 videos. And videos between 19.5 minutes and 20.5 minutes average 33.3%. So when it comes to saying like, hey, what's normal, you know, like what's good when it comes to my view duration, you know, that those are some just ideas in terms of, it's not sampled across the entire platform, but, you know, those are ideas in terms of, you know, what you can expect in terms of the averages across those sample sizes. Now, keep in mind, it matters in terms of like what's happening on your channel as well. So like if you find that like, hey, if I hit 50%, like if I have like 50,000, let's say I have 15,000 views on my video and I'm at like 50% average view duration, and I've got like a 8% click-through rate. And when I do that combination, then my videos just keep getting views. Then at that point, you realize that, hey, I have this kind of baseline that I know that I need to hit these numbers, because every time I hit these numbers, my videos tend to perform. So because of that, then you have that baseline of where it's like, yeah, these are the, you know, this is what I need to make sure that I'm hitting. Let me close this really quick so I can get the comments back up. There we go. But yeah, that's kind of the idea for that. And in terms of like the watch time, another thing I'm going to show you here, this was just part of that presentation when I did it, was, and I'm sure you guys have seen some of these graphs too, but the YouTube Creator Academy, it's 100% free. I have a link to this down in the description of this video as well. They made it for content creators. If you're a YouTuber, if you're doing this as a hobby or you're taking it seriously, you need to go through the YouTube Creator Academy. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. The only thing it costs you is your time, and it's going to teach you a lot of the best practices. They don't get into like strategy and things like that, but they do teach you the best practices in terms of things like simple things. Hey, when you write titles, make sure that you put your keyword towards the front so that people will be able to identify that that particular video is about that particular subject and it doesn't get cut off somewhere on the platform because they truncate the title. Little details like that can really add up over the course of your channel when you're putting out, when you're putting out content to YouTube. But the thing with keeping people watching, one of the things that YouTube says here is they say this is directly from the YouTube Creator Academy, but they say keep viewers engaged for longer and encourage them to come back for more, whether it's for a long video or several short ones. The longer you keep people watching, the more your content may get surfaced, right? And another example that I like to give with that is here, and I'm sure a lot of you have seen, a particular graph that looks like this as well. Here, they say, hey, woohoo, views are up 30% as viewers are watching longer. They're not saying, hey, you got more views because you're getting more thumbs up. They're not saying, hey, you got more comments on this video, so we're showing it to more people. They're not saying that. What they're saying is they're saying, hey, people are watching longer. That is why your videos are up 30% on this particular video. So, when it comes to keeping people watching for, a longer period of time, really, really important to keep people watching, even if you're ranking videos for search. The myth busting side, and again, this is in the YouTube Creator Academy, 100% free, put out by YouTube. Link is down in the description. It's pretty far down there, but it's down there. But basically, they have a little myth busting area, and that myth busting thing says, the myth, and I get this question every single live stream. Every single live stream, you ask this. Every single live stream, you ask this, and this is the answer. My videos have fully optimized titles and descriptions. Why don't they rank higher? According to YouTube, search considers many signals, including the watch time of a particular video for a particular query. So you guys know, if you hang out in this live stream on a regular basis, that I'm always I'm always hammering that thing on get people to click, get people to watch, get people to click, get people to watch, right? And the reason for that is because, YouTube straight up tells us, get people to click, get people to watch. We're going to show your videos to more people. Check this one out. Wow, this video is taking off. Views are up 74%. 74% higher. How would you like to get 74% higher views? You would love it. I know you would, right? 74% higher as more people choose your video. They click on your video. That's what they mean. More people choose your video when we recommend it and they watch longer. So just watching longer, sure, we got a 30% increase. I've got more screenshots elsewhere talking about, where people are clicking on it more, so it's getting more views. But man, if you can get that combination to where people are clicking on it more and they're watching it more, guess what? You're going to win if you just keep doing that. And you keep look, as a new content creator, because I know that a lot of people that are watching the streams, I know some people have been around for a long time, but I know there's also a lot of new content creators here, and all of you that have been around for a long time, you can co-sign what it is that I'm getting ready to say. But when it comes to YouTube, the most frustrating part is getting started because you haven't learned how to do those things yet in terms of getting people to click on what it is that you're doing and getting them to enjoy your content yet. So because of that, that's why you constantly hear me, other people who make content like me, YouTube, any content creator that has any traction whatsoever on the platform, they always talk about, you got to get people to click on what it is that you're doing. And then you got to give them an awesome experience, because if you do those things, that's how you win on YouTube. And it's not rocket science per se. All it is it's going through the process of experimentation so that you can learn how to get people to respond to what it is that you're doing. And I know that a lot of content creators, especially if you're new, I know a lot of people, they get discouraged because they're like, hey, I've been working on this stuff. I've been making videos for 6 months and I don't have a lot of people watching my content yet. And I'm frustrated and I put in all this work and it's just not working out for me. What's going on? I encourage you, go through the YouTube Creator Academy. If you're watching my videos and only my videos and it's just not resonating with you and you're not, applying that information, watch other people. Right? Go and watch other content creators that share similar information, because maybe they'll say something in a way that will resonate with you to where you'll just say, oh, makes sense. Now I'm going to go apply all this stuff. Now I'm going to, start, doing the thing that will make my channel start moving forward. because, you know, again, it's not rocket science. It's just a system that you have to develop of when I do this thing, people respond to it. When I do this in my videos, people respond to it. So this is the system that I put together that will cause people to, you know, click on my stuff and come in and watch it for a fair amount of time. And as long as I keep doing that and I keep making good content decisions topically, and I put things out at the right time, then in that situation, then, you know, I'm going to win on YouTube. I'm going to get results on YouTube. Those results might be, you know, a little bit, or those results might be massive. But the idea is that you have to perfect those particular things in terms of getting people to click and getting people to watch. Going through here real quick, and I'm like, hey, do I have any more screens that I can, do I have any more screens here that I can show people? Okay, so here's another one. So when I was talking about the audience retention, so like if you look at this, for example, right? If you look at your audience retention, you, depending on, you know, your particular videos, you know, some of your videos you're going to see where there's like a massive drop in the beginning. What you want is you want videos that look a little bit more like this, where, you know, when the video first starts, you're grabbing their attention at the beginning and then you're pulling them through, you know, more of the video. Because if you can do that and you can get, you know, if you can get good at that, then your videos are going to, you're just going to keep winning. Like when you upload videos, some videos, of course, are going to do better than other videos. That's just kind of the nature of the beast. However, you know, if you can do that and you can master that skill of like, how do I grab somebody's attention when a video first starts? And in a lot of cases, all you got to do is just let people know this is what we're doing in the video. And then if they're interested, which they are because they clicked on that video, then, you know, in a lot of cases, as long as you don't, you know, waste their time, then they're going to continue watching, you know, your videos for a longer period of time. So like as an example, man, this is great. I'm glad I did this. So as an example, in this situation, like if your videos look like this, then you really need to get to work. This is something that we call like the hockey stick of death for videos. And what that means is when people click on your content, they like when they click on your titles and thumbnails, they come into your video and they leave. If your video looks something like this, you have work to do. That means that people are just not responding to what it is that you're doing. So some things that you got to think about. And I saw some super chats come in. I'm going to get to those like right here in a minute. Same exact thing with the channel member. But I just want to, you know, express the importance of this whole getting people to click and watch thing. So if your videos look like this, that means that people, you know, you're getting people to click, but when they come in, they're leaving your video, and that's something that you don't want. So a lot of things that cause this are horrible audio. Let's say that, you know, the video starts and it sounds like this, and you're like, you know, hey, in today's video we're going to be talking about that, blah blah blah. And it sounds like that because you haven't been making videos for a long time. And because of that, you haven't realized yet that when you put your microphone on top of your camera inside of the hot shoe, that it's just too far away. And because of that, you have to get some type of boom arm, right? Something like this, where you can get your microphone closer to you. In every single video that I record, except for like 2 recently, because I screwed it up because I was messing with my scene over there. But in every video that I record, the microphone, literally, I can just reach out. I can reach out and touch it. In some cases, it's like right here, right? It's like that, you know, and I can actually do it this way so you can see. There we go. Yeah, but the idea is you want to get this as close to you as you possibly can. So when I'm doing the videos, when I'm sitting down here, the audio, right? This right here, I'm doing it like this because I want, when you come into the videos, I want it to sound awesome. Because if it sounds awesome, you're going to stick around for a longer period of time, because right out of the gate, there's that whole like quality thing. Like, hey, it sounds good. I don't have to struggle to pay attention to what's happening in this video. It's easy for me to watch this video. So other things also, like in this particular case, right, it also had that same hockey stick effect at the beginning, to where this particular one, you know, it just, the hook just killed it. If you look down at the bottom, if you look at that 30% bar, you know, once people settled into the video, it was a good video, but the hook was wrong. And since the hook was wrong, they weren't able to grab their attention in that situation. So if they were able to grab their attention, because the content's solid, you can see here at 30%, once people settled into this, they were able to continue watching this video. So because of that, it's a win, right? In terms of the content, but they screwed up at the hook. And since they screwed up at the hook, the entire video suffered for it. So because of that, it's really important to make sure that when you're putting your content together, that you are putting your content together in a way and just paying attention when my videos open, right? Do they have that graph where people just drop off like that? But things that can cause that, like I was saying before, because I got distracted, but bad audio. So if your audio sucks, image quality. And I don't mean that you have to have like high quality cameras and all of that. You can even do it on your phone and it's fine. But the idea is you need enough light so that people can actually see. Like if you're talking to the camera, then you need enough light where people can actually see. Now, if you're doing gaming videos, you know, things like that, it's a little bit different, but the same thing applies where you need to make sure that you're grabbing people's attention in some way when the video first starts. Either like if you're not on camera, then it's got to be with your voice. If it's not your voice, then you have to be able to do it with music. And this is why it's so important to know who it is that you're making content for, because then you make sure that you're using the right music that the particular people that you're trying to reach are the most likely to enjoy, instead of the people that you're trying to reach coming in and being like, oh my gosh, this is ridiculous. This is the corniest music I've ever heard in my life. I'm out of here. Right? So, you know, it helps you fine tune all those decisions. So when people come in, those ideal people that you're trying to reach, they know that your content's for them based on what it is that they experience as soon as your video starts. Ultimately, what you want is something like this, to where, you know, to where people are coming in, you're grabbing their attention right out of the gate. And you have a strong hook that keeps them watching for a fair amount of time, and they watch, you know, pretty much the whole thing until, pretty much the whole thing until, you know, pretty much the end of the video when they start clicking on, you know, in screens and stuff like that. But ultimately, you know, you want this or better is what you want to strive for. And if you can do that, then your videos will continue to perform, you know, time and time and time again. So you just want to make sure, and I'll take this off here. But you just want to make sure that you do that. But one other thing to think about also, and I have this in here also, just showing the difference. But basically, one of the things that you also want to think about is your thumbnails. And this sounds like it doesn't matter, but it does. Because I'm sure you've heard me say it on the stream if you've been you know, watching these for a while. But basically, like when it comes to your thumbnails, if people are clicking on your thumbnails with one expectation and you're not delivering that expectation, then it can impact your video performance. If you are delivering on their expectation, then it can positively impact your video performance. So what you got to do is you have to say, okay, if my hook, if I have that like hockey stick thing that I was just showing you, then in that particular case, what I need to do is I need to make sure that one, my hook is solid, but maybe my hook is solid. Maybe I'm just building up the wrong expectation from the outside in terms of my title and thumbnail. And because of that, I need to go in and start, you know, looking to see if I can define what is it that somebody might expect. And then as soon as my video starts, does it seem like they're going to get that expectation fulfilled? Okay. So now I'm going to, I'll hit some of these super chats really quick. So I kind of went off on like a tangent there, but you know, I just wanted to stress the importance of making sure that you are, you know, that you're really focused on getting people to click on what it is that you're doing, and not just thinking like, hey, I'm just going to put a title and thumbnail together, but really thinking it through, defining what it is that would cause them to click. Instead of just writing a title and being done with it, write a bunch of titles. Write a bunch of titles until you get really good at writing titles. Write a bunch of titles and start going through them and being like, okay, this particular title on like, you know, how to beat this character in a game. That's title number 1 for the same video. Title number 1, how to beat this character in a game. Title 2, how you can beat this character in the game. 3, easy ways to beat this character in the game. 4, beat this character in the game in 3 moves. 5, you know, and just keep going through and just keep writing titles and keep trying to make them like shorter and shorter, just so it's easy to comprehend when they see it. And just, you know, go through that process. And the same exact thing with your thumbnails. Make a nice handful of thumbnails, because if you can do that, then what you're going to do over time is you're going to start noticing like, hey, I'm starting to identify what a good title looks like because I'm working through it. I'm whittling down a really good title. And the same exact thing with your thumbnails. You'll be able to compare your own thumbnails for that one video against each other. And you can say, you know what? Thumbnail number 3, I think that's the one. I made 5 of these, and I think thumbnail number 3 might resonate with people more than that original idea that I had. Or in some cases, that original idea is going to be the winner, and you're going to be like, man, I wasted my time on those other 4 or those other 5, right? But the idea is that you just, you know, go get yourself trained up on how to get people to click on what it is that you're doing. All right. So next up on the list, we have... Okay, here we go. Let me scroll down here. Okay, CG Turf. Thank you. All over the lake.
Super chat.
Says, are giveaways a bad idea? I thought about giving away a $50 Bass Pro card monthly to encourage subscribers. Seems to work, but I've heard it's a bad idea. Okay, so with giveaways, yes, the giveaways can be effective of getting people to come to your channel, but getting them to continue to come back is one of the things that it doesn't help with. So when it comes to giving things away, my recommendation to people is that you give to give, you don't give to receive. What I mean by that is like your channel's getting some momentum, you're like grateful for it because you're making some income, maybe you got a sponsor, maybe something's going on, you're like, wow, this is great. So because of that, I'm going to start giving away these pro cards just as like a, hey, thanks, I appreciate it. I got this sponsorship with Bass Pro, whatever. And, they're giving me these cards every month, $50, and I'm just going to, give them away to you guys. I could just take them and go shopping myself, but instead I'm just going to give them away to you guys just because I wouldn't, just because I'm cool like that. Right. So in that case, I wouldn't do it for the sake of growing your channel. Reason is, I've seen a bunch of channels to where they use the giveaway for the sake of growing the channel. They get all the, they get like a nice surge in subscribers because of that particular giveaway, and they marketed it well also. And then unfortunately, after the giveaway is done, people are unsubscribing. Nobody's coming back and watching the videos because they didn't come in for the content. They came in to get the actual thing. They don't care about the content. They don't care about what you're making. They're not getting value from what you're doing. They care about the actual thing that you're giving away. So because of that, using it as a tool to grow your channel, I would actually recommend against that. Another thing, just as a heads up, is if you're incentivizing people through giveaways to subscribe to your YouTube channel. For example, if you're saying things like, if you subscribe to my YouTube channel, then you can win this thing. Or, I only do this for subscribers, then you're incentivizing people for that. And since you're incentivizing people to subscribe to your channel, you're artificially inflating your numbers according to YouTube. And because of that, that's actually violating their community guidelines, and you can lose your channel over it. So because of that, you also want to consider that when it comes to giveaways as well. Curl Addict says, how important are the description box for getting views, and what all should be included in this box? So Curl Addict, I made an entire video on video descriptions. If you just look for my name, Nick Nimmin, and then just do video description or Nick Nimmin descriptions, then you'll have a video pop up specifically for that. And I have a template as well that you can download free. You don't have to put in your email or anything, to where you can download that template and you can, apply that directly to your upload defaults. But basically the idea is at the very top of your description, you want to describe the video. Right. And the description itself isn't necessarily going to cause your video to do awesome, because again, it comes down to people clicking on your video and watching your video and further engaging in your content. But the descriptions do help their systems have context to what it is that the video is about. So at the very top, you want to make sure that you're actually describing the video. If you're trying to rank it in search, then in that case, I would also include your keyword or keyword phrase, and maybe like another version of that keyword or keyword phrase in natural language. You never want to stuff. Then underneath that, you can put a subscribe call to action with the code link, to where if they click on it, it basically works as a subscribe button. You can have that as like the next thing down, just to encourage people to subscribe. And then underneath that, then you can go ahead and start adding playlists and things like that are relevant to the video that you're watching, or that they are watching, so that you can encourage people to click on those, or you can let people know. I've got links to other content that you're going to love down in the description below that's directly related to this video. Go check it out. So by doing that, what you're doing is you're spreading awareness that you have stuff in the description, and you're linking directly to other content that those people are likely to watch that are watching your videos. Also, if you end up doing chapters in your videos, then in that particular case, then you would also add that to your description if you would like. And then any affiliate links, if you promote anything as an affiliate or bring awareness to anything, you'd put those in your description as well. Just make sure that you add the proper affiliate disclaimers for the different affiliate networks, depending on what it is that you're promoting. Like if you're doing Amazon, they have very specific language they want you to use, and the very specific language they do not want you to use, because just like YouTube, they don't want you to incentivize people to click on your links. In addition to that, you want to make sure that, like with affiliate links and things like that, because of the FTC, you want to make sure that you're letting people know that those links are affiliated as well. But that template will get you started. That template basically is just like a breakdown of like, okay, description here, call to action here, this here, playlist links here, so that you can have, a nice template that you can put together. And just in case you don't know, there is the upload defaults. And in order to get to the upload defaults, you just go into your Creator Studio backend, and then you go to your settings in the bottom left-hand side if you're on a computer. Same exact thing applies if you're on a mobile device, but you got to use desktop mode. And then once you go in there, then you actually click on the settings option down in the bottom left, and then it's going to pop up a box. And then inside of that box, if you click on upload defaults, then there you can go ahead and just put that template in there, and then you can go in and just fill in everything as you need to when you publish your videos. Now, just as a heads up, you can also go ahead and add your affiliate links there. You can add a bunch of different playlists, and then just remove the playlists that are not related directly to the video that the people are watching, so that you're only linking to, you know, relevant stuff. Now, over time, just as a heads up, over time, you're going to end up having videos, or you're going to end up having like a lot of content. And because of that, over time, like it's going to be much easier to just drive people into specific playlists, and you can just leave it at that point in time, to where it's like, hey, if you're interested in this, I got videos on this. If you're interested in this, I got videos on this. And then you can just leave that kind of thing down in your description so that people can just, you know, click on what they care about.
Super chat.
Mad Brats ADV says, I run a weekly live stream on my channel and going to collab with another creator, thinking broadcasting live to both channels simultaneously. What are the pros and cons? That's duplicate content. Don't do it. So basically, if you're broadcasting the same exact thing to two different channels, then that's duplicate content, because they're getting the same exact content on both channels. You do not want to do that. So really quick, where was it? I just saw it. Chris Hardwick says, hey, Nick, do you ever unban the people that you banned on your channel? I unban everyone before my live streams for the super chat. So for me personally, no. If somebody's banned, unless they hit me up, hey, Fiberific, what's up? Eric Wait, what's up, man? Mum V-Teen, what's up? Nice to see you in here. Funny Bunny Pop. Hey, hope you're doing great. But basically, when it comes to people that get banned, unless they hit me up on like Twitter or something like that, I leave them banned, because, you know, they got banned for a reason. And, you know, like, I trust the mods. That's why they're mods. So anybody that's a mod and they end up banning somebody, like, I support their ban, whatever it happens to mean. Now, every now and then, you know, like when you're trying, and this has happened to me before too, like if you're trying to actually select somebody's name and the chat's moving, every now and then you'll grab like the wrong person and you'll accidentally ban the wrong person. That happens. So when those types of things happen, then people will, you know, end up sending me a message somewhere, and then I will unban them. And some people, I'm sure, don't send a message, but for the ones that do, then we'll unban them if it was an error. Okay. Next up, we have Marcino Resenzi. I hope I'm saying that right. I apologize if not. It says, I'm a movie reviewer from Poland, 8 years on YouTube. At the beginning, I've uploaded a lot of stand-up to get views. It worked. Now, 700 reviews later, still 8 out of 10 most popular vids are stand-ups. Most of the subscribers on the channel are for comedy, not for movies. I want to go full on movies. What to do? So if you have the one channel where people are subscribed for the comedy stuff, and that's literally what's driving the channel for 8 years straight, I would just start a new channel. That's what I would do. In terms of what you should do, I would consider that. I would also consider, like, you know, if you're putting up that movie content and people just aren't responding to it, then in that particular case, those people don't care about the movie content, or at least the people that YouTube is predicting that would be likely to watch that content from your channel aren't responding to it. So because of that, if it was me, I would start a new channel that would be movie reviews, and the entire thing would be framed around reviewing movies. Animation Entertainment says, I have my subscriber count. It's not much. Do you think that this deters people from subscribing? Also, what do you personally think of hiding this count? I'm not a fan of hiding subscriber count, because I think that it reflects, like, it can go two ways. One way is that it reflects insecurity in the channel. And what I mean by that is like, oh, I'm embarrassed of my subscriber count because I don't have a big channel yet, or I don't have a channel that I think is big. So because of that, I'm going to hide it because it's not acceptable to me for some reason, right? That's one side. The other side is I don't want people to get caught up in the whole subscriber count thing. Like, I don't care about subscribers. So because of that, like, I'm just hiding it because I don't care. Then in that situation, that's a totally different thing. However, it's important to know that people can still see your view counts. So regardless of what you do with your subscriber count, people are still going to see your view count. So you're not really hiding anything in terms of the performance of your channel. So because of that, I personally am not a fan of hiding the subscriber count. It's actually something, in my opinion, that you should embrace in terms of like, hey, you know, this is just what's up right now. This is like, I'm not like ashamed of it in any way, shape, or form. Nairi Squires,
super chat.
And we're getting back to the forum right here in just a second. Nairi Squires says, to vlog or not to vlog? That is the question. and says, my niche likes vlogs, but I just do tips and headshots. 200 subs, 4 months, adoption channel. My kids can't be filmed. Okay, yeah. So if people like the vlogs, but you're just sharing tips, that's totally cool. Do your thing. Just because people respond to one thing doesn't mean that you have to do it, right? Like when you're putting out content, and this is for everybody. Like if you're putting out content and people are people are going to respond to you in the way that they respond. They're going to respond to you based on the content decisions that you make and all that good stuff. But if people are really enjoying the vlog channels, that doesn't mean that they won't eventually really enjoy your tips channel either, or the talking head type of content. So, there's different types of viewers on the platform. So what you have to do is you have to just think to yourself like, okay, even though a lot of channels that talk about the same things I do vlog type content, I'm going to serve the people that dig the type of content the way that I like to do my content, which is with me just sitting here talking about the things that I'm going through in this situation. I'm still going to, do everything I can to get people to click, and I'm still going to pay attention to my analytics. So I can think, okay, when I'm talking, do I need to just talk? Or do I need to show some clips of what it is that I'm talking about? Or do I need to show, even if they're not of you, maybe some stock video clips or something of what it is that you're talking about? Or, is there something that I can show on the screen while I'm talking so it's not just me, sitting there, so it's more interesting? But that's where you're going to have to use your audience retention to help you put your content together. But in terms of how you do your content, that can actually be advantageous because that's helping you separate from the way that they do it. So the people that aren't even into vlog content, but they still want the information, they still want to learn about adoption, then you're a fantastic fit for those people. So I would just embrace your style, embrace your way of doing it, and keep moving forward. For example, when I first started on YouTube, like I came in and I was doing things kind of like I thought everybody else, was doing it. And it was because, people were trying to, be like professional, and they're trying to present themselves in this like certain way. And some people still do. And for me, eventually, I realized like, you know what? I'm just going to start doing things the way that I like to do them. And then that's going to help me connect with other people that, that do things kind of the way that I do, or just kind of like how I do it. So I'm going to start putting some colored lights in the background to make my videos pop. And I'm going to start trying to, just be more myself instead of being stiff and scripted and, little things like that. And it worked, worked great because in that situation, it helped separate me from the way other people who were talking about similar things were doing it. So even, before I was doing anything like YouTube related, even in that situation, like that content was the same exact way to where, to where it was just like stiff and it just wasn't me. I'm not that person. Like I'm wearing a hoodie, right? Like me in a button up, even though, like I wear button ups every now and then. It's just not my, me putting on a button up for a video for the sake of like, hey, I'm putting this on because I think this is how I should be dressed for this video. Yeah, that's just the wrong approach. Now, if it's like, hey, I'm just wearing a button up today, so I'm just going to make a video in it, totally different. But when those thoughts are happening in my brain of like, hey, I'm going to put this on because I think that's what other people, would want to see. Right there, everything's broken. So, you have to do you. And the reason for this, and I just posted this on Instagram, the reason for that is because, like only you can be the best you. Nobody else can be you, and you can't be anybody else as good as they can be them. So because of that, you have to embrace you and your way of doing things. And if that means that you're sitting there talking when most of the other people are vlogging, then so be it, Jedi. Okay, next up, we have Jeff Lauder. Jeff says, is relative audience retention based upon all videos of similar length, or all videos in the niche, or all videos in the suggested page? A little confused based on Brian G's videos. So according to YouTube, it's based on all videos on the platform of similar length. So I haven't watched Brian's video, but according to YouTube, it's based on all videos on the platform of similar length. And I think I even have a video with Tom actually quoting that, because I've asked a similar thing as well. But yeah, according to YouTube, it is it's all videos of similar length on the platform. Okay, remixed by Yoshi.
Super chat.
Says, so I've been on YouTube for 5 years, but it seems like I never gain views or subs. I have no idea what I'm doing wrong. Okay, so if you've been on YouTube for 5 years, but you are not getting any traction, give me a hashtag me if you are not getting any traction and you've been on YouTube for like a year. Give me a hashtag me. I'm just curious. Thanks, Doug. I'm gonna do water or coffee instead, so I can finish the coffee and pour some water in here.
If you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend right now.
Okay. So let's see here. The next question that we have is from, okay. So if you've been on YouTube so we've got a few. So if you've been, it's more, not me. So if you've been on YouTube for over a year and you're not getting any traction whatsoever, really you have to just step back and take a look at what it is that you're doing. Like if you're slowly growing, then in that case, it's like, okay, you're making some progress. But if you're not, then you have to sit back and you have to say, okay, this isn't working. So yeah, I'm sure you've heard the thing, if you keep doing the same thing over and over again, you're going to keep getting the same result. So you have to sit back and you have to look at what it is that you're doing and you have to say, okay, this isn't working. Why? So you have to say, okay, Nick's in his videos and he's talking about, doing these specific things. Am I doing those specific things? Sure, I might think that I am, but let me actually dig into my data and see if it actually looks like I'm doing these things. And you also have to think like, okay, if I'm making videos based on these particular topics, or I'm trying to grab people's attention in this way, maybe instead of, spending time and you're like, this is like the crazy thing for me to say, but maybe instead of spending this Saturday in Nick's live stream for, a few hours, I'm going to start watching some videos or reading some blog posts or reading some studies on psychology when it comes to written form, so that I can start trying to get an understanding of how to get people to respond to my written word when I'm putting my titles together, so that I can start digging into why people click on particular things, so that I can start trying to, get people to click on what it is that I'm doing more. And you also have to go into your stats too. And you have to, like, when you are uploading videos, of course, you're uploading videos and you're putting everything together in the way that you like it because you're the creator of it. So because of that, you have to go into your stats and you have to say, okay, maybe Nick, I'm fine with getting people to click. That's not a problem. But according to those graphs that I was showing you before, you got to look at your audience retention. You have to say how are people responding to what it is that I'm doing when they come in. And if they're not responding, then you have to, even though you've been making videos in the same format, you've been making videos in the same structure and all that stuff for the last year, you have to look at it and you have to say, I have to change something. I don't know what that is, but I have to change something. Maybe I need to hook people stronger. Maybe I need to be a little bit louder in my videos. Maybe I need to, cut my videos a little bit faster, a little bit slower. Maybe this intro that I'm using, I need to take it out completely. Maybe normally I use music in my videos. Maybe I should just stop. Maybe I should just take that out for a handful of videos and see how those videos do compared to the normal videos that I put out, right? So you just have to start breaking everything down that you do and just look at it and be like, you know what? I'm doing this the way that I like it, in terms of putting the content together. But if people aren't responding to it and I want my channel to grow, then I need to start catering things to how the audience is responding so that I can get them to respond better so that my channel will grow. Because if you keep doing the same exact thing, then your channel's, unless you have like one video take off, then your channel's, you're going to continue that really slow path upwards. So because of that, you just have to take a really hard look at what it is that you're doing and say, okay, I need to make some changes. Is it my presentation? Is it how I'm putting my videos together? Is it the topics that I'm talking about? Is it that I'm too niche down? Maybe I'm way too niche down. Maybe I'm way too broad. Maybe I'm within this niche, but I'm not really focused on a particular thing of this niche, right? So because of that, make sure that you're even looking up things like Google, define niche, define audience, define, you know what I mean? And start like digging in to see, to make sure that, the way that you're approaching things is accurate. But be willing to change, be willing to experiment, because if you're not getting traction, you have to figure out why, because you're not going to just magically get traction. YouTube doesn't just magically all of a sudden just start like throwing traffic your way. It's all based on how you get people to respond and how you get them to keep coming back and how you get them to share and how you get them to subscribe and all that good stuff. It all matters. All those things matter. So you have to, you have to develop your skill set to be able to get people to take those actions or to get people to click or to get people to watch whatever it is, so that YouTube can start showing your videos to more people. And when they do, those people will respond to it, which will then start this loop of YouTube identifies that, hey, here, this person published a video. We're showing it to people. People are clicking on it. They're coming in. They're watching for a fair amount of time. We're going to show it to some more people. Those people are clicking on it. They're coming in. They're watching for a fair amount of time. We're going to show it to more people. And then that's how that whole ball starts rolling, is you figure out that thing that gets people to respond to what it is that you're doing. Let's see here. And I'm going to look at something here really quick as well.
If you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend right now.
Okay, another thing too, just to keep in mind is like when you are like when you're putting like your titles together and things like that, like it's really important because I'm looking at the channel that asked me that, this Remix Yoshi. Like one, it's really important to make sure that, you know, if possible, that you're putting up like original content. But two, it's also important, like Failing Hard, Escaping the Prison, the Henry Stickmin, whatever this thing is here. Like you got to make sure that you are that you're thinking like, okay, why would somebody click on this, right? Because like if you like your audience might click on that, but me personally, like I would never click on that. There's nothing compelling about this particular thumbnail and title. So in your case, Remixed by Yoshi, like that's where I would start, thumbnails and titles. Okay, The Love of Living
Super chat.
says, hey, Nick, someone told me that since my channel name says nothing about my DIY building, that my channel won't grow. So do you think that the channel name really matters in relation to channel growth? So when it comes to your channel name, if you are active on YouTube, so for example, you're hanging, hey, Brian G. Johnson in the house. What's up, Brian G.? So if you are Brian G., author of Tube Ritual Volume 1, link to that down in the description below. It's a book that you can download right now on Amazon that will help you go from 0 to 5,000 subscribers and more. Teaches you all the best practice stuff and some strategy stuff and things like that to help you solidify that first 5,000 and take it beyond, because you learn all of that, you know, foundational stuff that will help propel you further as well. So happy to see you here, Brian. What's up, man? Hope you're doing great. In-Man Slimmer. Hope you're doing awesome as well. Nevs Phil says, wow, Brian G. Playing with Michelle. What's up? Nice to see you here. Hope you're doing great. All About Filipino Relationships saying, hey, Brian. Brian steps into the chat like a rock star. Check him out. Okay, so The Love of Living says the channel name. Okay, so when it comes to your channel name, if you're very active on YouTube as a creator, then having that channel name to where it does tell a little bit about what you do can be advantageous. However, that's such a small thing in terms of moving the needle for you compared to just making a really good video. And what I mean by that is the people saying that your channel won't grow because it doesn't say DIY in the title, or doesn't like break down exactly what it is that you do. Those people don't know what they're talking about. My name, if you look at my channel right now, it doesn't say what I do, right? It doesn't say anything about what I do. If you look at Brian G's, right, it doesn't say anything about what it is that he does. He's doing fine. He's got over 100,000 subscribers. My brother, Roger Wakefield, Daniel Battelle, right? All these people, they over 100,000 subscribers, and it's just their names. Just their names. Roger used to be Expert Plumber, but now he's Roger. But you know, it's just the names. So because of that, whoever's telling you that is, you know, they're incorrect. Because if you're active all the time on YouTube, then of course some people will notice like, oh, hey, it's a DIY channel. I like DIY stuff. I'm going to go in. I'm going to check that out. But the thing that moves the needle for your YouTube channel is your content. It's not your channel name. You'll look all over YouTube. You'll find all kinds of ridiculous channel names. Your channel name, when you're trying to come up with a good channel name, it's important to make sure that it's easy to remember. It's also important to make sure that it's not branded, like legitimately branded, trademarked, any of that stuff. And it's also good practice to make sure, if possible, that you can get that name across all the social media platforms, and that you can also get the website for that name as well. The reason that's important is because your YouTube channel, depending on the approach that you're taking, but if you're wanting to do this like seriously for, you know, as a thing, then in that situation, what you're doing when you're growing a YouTube channel is you're actually growing a brand as well. So because of that, you want to make sure that you're securing your name all the way, you know, everywhere, so that you can, you know, have that name everywhere, so that you're known as that name everywhere, instead of it being, you know, different everywhere somebody is going to follow you, for example. So because of that, when it comes to your channel name, don't even worry about it. When it comes to, you know, making sure that you put, you know, a specific thing in there or whatever to identify the type of content that you make, because in terms of it moving the needle for you, in terms of like, you're not going to put a comment anywhere on YouTube that's going to give you 20,000 subscribers over the next, you know, 3 weeks. It's just not going to happen. It doesn't matter if it was a pinned comment on PewDiePie maybe, or Mr. Beast, sure, but you know, like realistically on just normal channels on YouTube, when you're interacting, there's nowhere where you're going to comment or interact that's going to just grow you like 20,000 subscribers over like a 2 or 3 week period. However, you can put out a video, and that video can do fantastic, and that video can drive you 20 to 30,000 subscribers over the course of, you know, 2 to 3 weeks or a month or whatever it happens to be. So because of that, Don't sweat it. Don't worry about your name. Hey, Roberto Blake in the house. What's up, dude? Hope that you're doing fantastic as well. I've got links to Brian and Roberto, by the way, down in the description of this video. So you should definitely be following both of these guys. They both share YouTube related stuff. And they have different approaches to their channels. So like Brian does YouTube. He also mixes in some photography and videography stuff. Roberto mixes in some gear stuff. He mixes in some entrepreneurship stuff for creatives like you, that sort of thing. But I got links to both of those guys down in the description. But when it comes to your channel name, though, don't sweat it. Because, again, like people are going to come in from your content. You're not going to have a mass of people come in from your channel name. So because of that, just think, is this name brandable? Yes. Go for it. If it's not brandable, then that's where you got to think like, okay, if this is really difficult to remember, I got a bunch of like random numbers, things like that, then in that case, like I would reconsider it. But your case, the love of living, as long as that's available everywhere, I think you are perfectly okay to just keep with that name. Okay. So now we are going to get into some more, we're going to get some more questions here. So we got that one already. Next up, we've got Alice Fub Mills. Alice Fub Mills says, and I saw some other super chats come in. I'll get those right here in a second. I just want to get in the form here just because I know some people are waiting. Alice Fub Mills says they upload 1 time per week or more. They've been making videos for a year or more. They have a gaming channel, and the goal of the channel is to make videos that people enjoy watching. My goal is not to get subs, it's to make people laugh and be happy. And the question is, how do I get more views on my videos? I try to make an interesting thumbnail and add a title that fits what happens in the videos, but I barely get any views. What am I doing wrong? Keep working on your titles and thumbnails. Keep working on your video content. It's not that you're doing anything wrong. It's just that you haven't done it enough yet. You haven't made enough content. You haven't studied making thumbnails and making titles and making content enough yet in order to be able to do it in a way that people respond to. So because of that, keep practicing, keep putting out content. And when you're doing it, don't just think, I got to upload a video. It's Tuesday. I got to get a video out. Don't take that approach. And because what will happen there is you're going to be like, okay, so I'm just going to whip this thumbnail together. I'm going to whip this title together. Instead, like really spend some time on your thumbnails, really spend some time on your titles and write out a bunch of titles and think to yourself like, okay, which one of these do I think is best? Why would somebody click on this title? Why, if they saw it by itself, why would somebody click on this thumbnail if they saw it by itself? And then with the two of them together, why would somebody click on these two as a package to come into the actual video, right? So you want to define those things. And then when you're putting your video content together, same thing. You want to think, okay, when the video first opens, why would they be interested enough to stick around and watch this video? When you're, a minute in, why would somebody still want to keep watching this particular video? And start defining this thing through everything it is that you're doing so that you can start making theories, and then you can start testing those theories throughout the additional content that you make, or in other words, practice. All right, next up here on the list, and I'm going to do just 2 more of these, and we're going to hop back into the super chats, and then I'll come back. Says Chris Munt Hair Tutorials. And Chris Munt says that the question is hairdressing tutorials. It's to become monetized is the goal. And the question is, love your channel. Great advice. Thanks for being awesome. Thank you for being awesome. Pointed the wrong camera. I started full-time in March after losing my job and post 1 to 3 times per week. I know I need to keep working on my thumbnails and descriptions. I currently use head blocks to cut and color these. Cut costs 60 to 100 pounds. I'm running out of money to buy these. I've approached companies to sponsor, but no luck, and added buy me a coffee to my site. If I use real people, although long-term maybe cheaper, it's hard to find the specific hair I need for videos, and I will have to I'll have to lay out for like equipment and insurance and all that too. Currently have 863 subs, 2,000 hours of watch time. In 6 months, do I go all in and keep going, or stop and go back to work and just post this as I can afford it? I really appreciate your advice. Okay, so I'm gonna hit you with some real talk here. So if you are starting on YouTube for the sake of monetizing and for generating an income from YouTube, then in that particular case, you have to really get your monetization together in terms of like, what are all the different ways that I can monetize this? And you have to start implementing those right away. Now, when you are implementing those things in terms of like merch and, affiliate marketing for all the different products you talk about, and then of course, YouTube ads once you get there, any products that you end up making in the future, and like that kind of stuff. But as you're doing all of that stuff, you have to have income, because YouTube, like, I'm not sure if you were hanging out here earlier. I'm guessing you were, because you have an early question. But one of the questions that I asked here was, like when you are, or if you've been on YouTube for over a year and, you still can't get that ball rolling. And there's a lot of people that were like, #me, right? So because of that, if you're coming in for money, like, sure, it's possible in terms of like, hey, I can get this whole thing moving, rather quickly. It's possible if you already have an understanding of how all of this stuff works, you already have experience and all that. Sure, it's possible. However, if you don't, and you don't have that experience, I recommend that you have a job and that you work on this on the side until you get it to a point where you have all your monetization in place and you actually start creating some type of income to where you can say, okay, now if I go all in, then I will be able to support myself from what it is that I'm generating from my YouTube channel. And then I'll be able to keep stacking on top of that. That's the approach that I would recommend you take. That's the approach that I took. That's the approach that, pretty much everybody that I know that's on YouTube, that's successful on YouTube, took as well. Is, you have your stuff that you do that brings income, and then you work on YouTube on the side until you get it to the point to where it kind of takes over what it is that you're doing. And then you can walk away from the other stuff and you can, just keep walking down the YouTube path. But, for the people that are wanting to get monetized, especially quickly, you got to think beyond ads. Ads can add up. Like you can make good money. You can make like a full-time income just on ads for sure. However, you have this opportunity. You're putting out videos. Like if you don't monetize in other ways, you're leaving so much money on the table. It's crazy. So you need to think of like, okay, with my type of content, if you're doing hair content, like what are all the different ways that I can monetize? What are literally go through the process of finding every single brand that does anything about hair that might even be slightly related to what it is that you're doing, and send emails to every single one of them. Make it part of your day. Today, I'm sending 10 emails. They're going to, these different companies, and write an individual email to each one. Don't just do copy and paste emails. Like literally just write an email to everyone, tell them why they're a good fit, tell them what it is that you're doing. Don't beg, just try to get yourself on their radar and just open up the door and say, I would love to work with you in some way. Right. And by doing that over time, then if you don't get them on the first round, you're going to start picking some up on the second round. You'll start picking some up on the third round as your channel starts doing better. So go ahead and start trying to create those relationships now. Okay, so next up here, we've got, let's see here, Lord of Living, and then we've got, Josh Blunt. Josh Blunt says, is barrier to entry important on TubeBuddy when it comes to average views if you're still ranking well with a weighted score? I'm not sure what you mean by a barrier to entry. So in terms of YouTube, you don't have to have like a channel of a certain size in order to rank a video in search. But you do have to be able to make a really good video. So in order to get a video to rank in search for something really competitive, then you have to make a really good video, and it's probably going to show up there for a really short amount of time, and it's going to go away, and then it'll slowly climb the ranks over time. Unless you target something very specific that, that isn't very competitive. So because of that, there isn't a barrier to entry to doing really good keyword research and trying to target search terms or search phrases that are high volume in terms of search, but they're low in terms of being competitive. So it might take you all day to find one. It might take you an hour, it might take you 15 minutes, depending on how you're researching. But the idea is that you just research the topics first before you make the video, so that you can make sure that that what it is that you're making the content for, you have the highest chance of ranking. But also just to consider, one, when you are making your videos, yes, you want to make sure that you're doing the keyword research, because, if your videos show up in search, that's fantastic. And then you also, are kind of helping YouTube identify what your content's about and all that good stuff. But in addition to that, you also want to just consider that in addition to search, if you make good content, it's going to get suggested next to other videos. It's going to show up on home pages and all that too. So because of that, it's not all about just ranking a video in search. Of course, you want your videos to show up there when people are looking for stuff, depending on the type of content that you make. But you also have to consider, like, hey, if I make a really good piece of content and then I optimize it for a specific term, even though I might not rank for that specific term, or I might be really low down, I might be number one. But if I do end up, pretty far down, my videos are still getting recommended, possibly next to the number one video, or my video is still getting recommended, on home pages and things like that. So because of that, think bigger than just I'm in this little can that I can only, get my videos in search, and that's the only thing that matters. Like, you got to make good content so that it doesn't matter where people find it. They come in and they watch it and they enjoy it. So then YouTube can keep it in those search rankings, keep it next to other videos, keep it, showing up on homepages of people that they identify as a good fit for your content. P. Morgan, Live Positive says, thank you for answering my DM question on the audio. Really appreciate your time. My pleasure, Penny. My pleasure. Hope that was helpful. Fiberific, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. And we have Marcinal Recenzi again. My apologies again for the name. Says reviews have 45 to 55% watch time, but don't want to lose my movie review subscribers if I start a new channel. In English, it's Marcin's Movie Reviews. Okay. So one thing you can do on your channel is you can actually filter the movie review people to the new channel. So just make a movie review because those are the people that are going to respond to it. So when you make the movie review, then just let those people know in that review. Just do 10 different reviews on the channel. And then in every single one of those, be like, hey, I'm starting a new channel. It's over here. And start getting people to, start heading over to that channel for the movie stuff over time. So you just use the current channel as a filter. So for example, if I were to start a vlog, I would make a video on my channel and I would make it something about vlogging. And then I would let people know in that particular video that, hey, I have a vlog. So, or I'm starting a vlog. So, make sure I get a link to it in the description. Make sure you head over there and you subscribe to that channel. And then I would use this channel as a filter to where I would still give the value that people expect here, but then I would keep sprinkling in, oh, hey, by the way, have you checked out my vlog? Just like I'm always talking about currently, just like I'm always using, like during this live stream. Let's see here, brand. There we go. Just like I'm always talking about my podcast, Comments Over Coffee. So the reason I do that same exact thing is I'm basically using my YouTube channel, and it's a filter. So basically, I'm using my YouTube channel, and then I put that graphic on the screen. I talk about my podcast, and I say things like, hey, if you want to learn about YouTube over a cup of coffee, make sure you download my podcast or you subscribe to my podcast so you can listen to the episodes there. It's called Comments Over Coffee. The name is right down here in the corner, and there's a link down in the description. But basically what that does is anybody that's watching this right now that listens to podcast content, if they haven't heard about my podcast in the past, they're thinking, oh, didn't even know you had a podcast. Sweet. I'm opening up my app and I'm going to go and I'm going to subscribe to the podcast so I can catch the next episode. Maybe I'll go and catch up on some other episodes as well. So because of that, then even though not everybody that's watching is into podcasts, the people that are going to head over there and they're going to check out the podcast because now they know about it, because I just use this live stream to, tap into the people that are interested in the podcast that just watch the YouTube video content. So hopefully that answered your question there. And by the way, make sure everybody, if you are not subscribed to the podcast yet, you do. So it's a different vibe over on the podcast. So on the podcast, just as a heads up, and then I won't keep talking about it, but basically on the podcast, it's basically just longer form content, and it's more just conversational. So if you like these live streams, you'll like the podcast. And I'm starting a YouTube channel on it too. We've got I think 8 episodes that are ready to rock and roll, 7 or 8 that are ready to rock and roll. So that should be coming this coming week actually. And then we have, let's see here, Capron Real Estate Agency says my channel has 1,032 subscribers and 3,600 watch time in the last 7 months. Okay. Now, I don't know. There wasn't a question, so I'm not sure if you are, if you're like, is that good? Is that bad? Any tips? I'm not sure what the question was there. But in terms of, that, it's good. Because, a lot of people that start YouTube channels don't even make it to 1,000 subscribers. So, the fact that you've hit that in 7 months, you're definitely on the right track. So keep going. I'm not sure how often you're uploading or anything like that. So I'm not sure the question that you had.
Super chat.
Melvin Elephant, one of my favorite names to say. What's up, man? Hope you're doing great. Says, hey, Nick, my channel is gaining traction again and views are up 200% in the last 3 months. My question is, should I be concerned when 95% of my views come from 5% of my videos? No. Of course, you want to look at why people are coming in, or look at the videos that people are coming in and try to make things that they would be likely to watch again, so that they can, or likely to watch next, so that when those videos are shown to them by YouTube, when you publish new content, that they're the most likely to click on it. Then, that's the direction that I would take in that. But in terms of, you have just a small percentage of your content driving a majority of the results on the channel, that's actually common in a lot of cases. So I wouldn't be concerned, but I would try to make content that's similar as much as you possibly can, because all it takes is somebody coming in and repeating those videos on your end that are doing well, and them doing better, and them basically overtaking those spots where you're pulling traffic from the other videos. And, if they respond better on home pages and things like that, then you're going to get shuffled around. You're going to end up losing, some of that traffic. So because of it, I would definitely make sure that you are following up with similar content, or at least content that they would be likely to watch. Next.
Super chat.
Insane McLean says, did you just give hair advice? Come on, man. Come on, really? Hair advice? Come on, man. Says, did you just give hair advice? Maybe you should make beard content. I would definitely watch. Yeah. So, so I'm going to start, I'm starting a hair and beard channel, specifically hair. I'm going to start teaching people how to cut hair, how to keep long flowing hair. If you're a guy, you're going to love the channel, because it's going to be about natural, healthy hair growth. Oh, love it. So good. Okay, so next up on our list here, let me close this really quick so that I can get back to the comments. Boom, boom, boom. Dr. Rutuja, I hope I'm saying that right, says, hey, Nick, for a channel with 100 subscribers now, is promoting it a good idea, since it's really hurting my audience retention? No, learn to get the traction on YouTube. Learn to get people to respond here. Of course, off platform can be advantageous if you know where to share your content. But if you can see, and everybody, just a heads up, you can see in your stats, you can see, if you look at your external traffic sources, you can see, hey, people are coming in from Facebook. This is how long they're watching. People are coming in from, this source. This is how long they're watching for. So if people are coming in and they're not responding to your content from those sources, or from those, groups, or whatever it happens to be, stop sharing. Don't share there, because you're wasting your time. Every second that you spend sharing your content in those places where people aren't responding, you're just taking a step in the wrong direction. So because of that, you want to make sure that you are, sharing in the right places. But ultimately, your wins are going to come from YouTube. And if you do identify really good communities that enjoy your content, then in that case, then, those can also be advantageous for you as well. Some people grow YouTube channels just off of Reddit, which is interesting. But again, that's to get it started. They have good content. That's why they're able to do it. Okay, so let's see here. Next up here, I'm going to jump back into the chat here, and let's see here. The first question back in the chat is from Chris Munt Hair Tutorials. Oh, okay, we did that one already. Okay, I was like, really, again? Chris Munt Hair Tutorials. Okay, Ross Baxter is next on our list here, and Ross says that they upload every other day. It's a podcast channel for artists, and the goal of the channel is to help educate students in the film and game industries. Question. Hey, Nick, thanks for answering my question last week. So I host a weekly podcast called the Student Art Podcast. Is that a plug? Hey, everybody, check out the Student Art Podcast. I have 3,000 subscribers. My question is, what's the best way to ask for feedback? I find I don't get much response in comments unless it's a bigger guest. Thanks for everything that you do. So when it comes to feedback, if you are wanting feedback on what people enjoy, you can find that in your stats. So what you need to do in that situation, look at your audience retention, especially with podcast content. You're going to see this in some of the platforms. You can get some of this too, some of the podcast platforms, but on YouTube, you'll be able to see what parts of your podcast people are leaving on, what parts they're digging, stuff that they're skipping to. And then what you need to do in that situation is start thinking, okay, if we're trying to do this for YouTube, then in that situation, what we need to do is we need to start fine tuning how we're putting these shows together so that we can increase the experience that people are having with our videos so that they'll get more distribution on YouTube. Right. So that's number one. In terms of feedback, if you're wanting comments and likes and things like that, Neil Urban Explorer says hair with Nick. Sorry, that got me. Yeah. But when it comes to, trying to get people to comment more and things like that, ask people. So if you have 3,000 subscribers, you're getting like a fair amount of viewers in your, you're getting a fair amount of viewers for each podcast episode that you upload. Then in that particular case, you can do things like, you're having your conversation with your guest and you're like, hey guest, what do you think about that? And they're like, yeah, I think the same thing. And you're like, yeah, well, when you were thinking, that thing, then you're like, what made you do that? And they're like, well, really, I was just kind of walking down the street and I saw this thing and I was like, hey, I need to make a thing like that. And then you're like, oh yeah, really? Well, that's fantastic. I'm so glad you made that thing. And they're like, yeah, so am I. It was great. And then you're like, okay. But what you do in that situation is then you say something like, hey, that was really great. Let me know what you think about that down in the comments below, or let me know what you would do differently than what he did down in the comments below, or like, let me know the takeaway that you've gotten from this podcast down in the comments below. And the idea is that you are leading them down into your comment section instead of just saying things like comment. Like, you're giving them the reason or the to where all they have to do is just go down there and answer what it is that you've already proposed to them. So instead of saying leave a comment to where they're like, hey, what do I comment about? Hey, let's talk about this mouse again. Let's say something about that in the comments. Instead of doing that, you're directing them to like, hey, this is the question that I want you to answer down in the comments right now. And that just makes it easy, because then it's like, oh, okay, well, I want to share my opinion because I'm listening to this entire podcast. I care about what's going on here. So I'm going to go down there and I'm going to share my opinion. So ask, but make sure that you're leading them down into the ask. You can also, even though it's a podcast, I'm guessing that most people are going to be listening versus watching. Some people will watch though. So you can even do little things like adding little graphics and, like that kind of stuff to just, hey, let us know what you think about the show in the comments, or, let us know, whatever questions you want to propose. The idea is that you just want to ask the question that they can put an answer to down in the comment section. All right. So next up on our list here, it looks like we had a super chat come in. Science-Based Fitness. What's up? Thank you for the super chat. Says, hey, I love your content. Thank you. Says, you've helped me a ton. Question. Love hearing that, by the way. I have a 9-second intro video I got custom made, but there were a limited option. Do you have any suggestions on where to get a shorter one made? You're not going to like the answer to this. So when it comes to your 9-second intro, I would recommend that you just don't even use an intro at all. I know, right? Yeah, but I do. I recommend that you don't even use an intro at all. So the idea for that is, if you look in your stats, once you do start using the intro, because you'll probably use one anyway. So once you start looking in your stats, even if it's a 5-second intro, you're going to notice a dip in retention, typically some kind of dip. It might be 1% or it might be 18%, but you're going to notice a dip that happens during your intro. So because of that, if you think long term when it comes to YouTube, if you lose just 2% of your viewers or 3% of your viewers during your intro in one video, that's not a big deal. But if you scale that over 100 videos, all of a sudden that becomes a really big number if you're getting a fair amount of views. Or if you just have one video that does really well, then that's a lot of people that you've missed the opportunity to show your content to, because it was more important to show them your branded intro instead of showing them what it is that they came into the video for. So, like me, I've completely taken the intro out of what it is that I'm doing as well. I've replaced it in some videos with a majority of videos with a sponsor spot. But when that sponsor spot's finished, any video that has a sponsor spot, I don't even do my call to action, because I don't want to waste anybody's time, because they already set through a sponsor spot. So I don't even do my thing where I'm like, hey, welcome to another video if it's your first time here. Like, I don't do any of that stuff in the sponsored videos, because you've already sat through a sponsored video, you skipped through it. So either one, like, I don't want you to just continue to not give you the content. Like, I want you to be able to say, here's the hook, this is what the video is about, here's the sponsor spot, so watching through that, and then right as that's done, then I get right into the content, because it's important to me that you get what it is that you want from the videos as fast as you possibly can. So in terms of the intro, I wouldn't even use one. And I've actually stopped. So like, I don't. In terms of, if you do want to get one, then you can use like templates and things like that off of like placeit.net. I think Canva might even have some now. Fiverr, of course, you can get some intros made there. I know if you have like After Effects or Premiere, I know places like Storyblocks, they have like templates that you can download as well, to where you can customize them to where, the only thing that's the same of other people would be like how the things move, but the actual content that people would see would be your own. So like, those would be some decent places to start. But yeah, so Fiverr, you could go to like Upwork or something like that, upwork.com or fiverr.com, in order to get that sort of thing. But again, I would just consider like, if you even like really need it. Like, one of the things here, I'll actually show you. since I have it plugged in, let's see here. How can I do this? Yeah, I can't because I don't think it's connected here. Here, hold on. I'll tell you right here in a second. Switch accounts. Okay, yeah, I can. Okay, so, oh no, it's not. Okay, so it's not connected here. So it would have to be over here. But anyway, so like for the comments over coffee, right? So I'm basically putting my podcast on here as well. And on YouTube, or I'm sorry, on the podcast for the audio version, I have this like long intro and it's pretty cool. I dig it. It kind of sets the mood for it. And like, if you're like, you know, running or listening or driving or whatever, it's like not that big of a deal. But YouTube, because it's a totally different thing, because there's all these different things trying to grab your attention on YouTube. So what I did on YouTube is I have it to where I like say the intro, like, you know, in today's episode of Comments Over Coffee, we're talking about XYZ. So grab your cup, tumbler, or mug because we're starting right now. And then right after that, it's literally just a quick, like not even a second. It's just like a transition really that happens to have my logo on it. So as I'm saying all that, there's like this little buildup of audio, and then there's just that 1 second transition, and then I get right into the episode. For the reason that I'm telling you about, in terms of like, I want, when people go into it, I want them to get the content as fast as humanly possible, instead of, you know, wasting their time with the with the logo branding and all of that good stuff. Next up, we have Book of Alpharonomy. Dr. BOA says, 2 vital tips from Nick helped me go from 20K to 60K subs in 90 days. First off, high five and fist bump to you. Nice work. Nick, I've always hidden my subscriber count. Should I show it now or does it even matter? I appreciate what you do. Salute. So when it comes to your subscriber count, really, I like, if you haven't shown it for this entire time, then you can just leave it off. If you decide like, hey, I want to kind of flex a little bit, show people my subscriber count, then in that case, you know, go ahead and turn it on. So, you know, if you know, like one of the things about showing the subscriber count is like, really at the end of the day, it only helps with social proof, but the majority of people, like, well, not the majority, every single person that comes into your content, before they click on your content, they don't know how many subscribers you have. They're just clicking on it based on the thing that they're interested in. So from the outside, nobody cares if you have 1 million subscribers or if you have 1. What they care about is like, am I going to get a good piece of content right here? Is this thing I'm clicking on worth my time? And as long as you're matching that, then displaying or not, your subscriber count doesn't matter. Me personally, I'm not a fan of not showing the subscriber count, especially when people are just getting started. But if you're doing it for the sake of like, hey, I don't want people to get caught up in my subscriber count, I don't want to get caught up in my subscriber count, then in that case, you know, you can go ahead and leave it. You go ahead and leave it off, because people can see the view counts and all that, and they're going to be making their judgments based on that. But with your subscriber count, you can just decide if, you know, hey, do I want to kind of show this off or not? Because just as a heads up, you know, you hit 60,000 subscribers in 90 days. And just the fact that you've hit 60,000 subscribers at all is a huge accomplishment. So first, give yourself a pat on the back for that. But 2, because you have, you know, achieved that, in my opinion, you should show it off, because, you know, a lot of people don't make it that far. A lot of people do, but a majority of people don't make it that far. So because of that, I would show it off. I do. Right. I show mine off because I'm like, you know, hey, I worked hard for this. Right. So I'm going to leave it, leave it visible. So, you know, of course it's, it's your preference, but, you know, that's just some kind of food for thought on it. Self-publishing with Dale in the house. Did I just see Dale in here? Let's see here. I think I just saw Dale in here. Maybe not. Maybe I did. I'm not sure. Tom Nash also swinging by. What's up, Tom, dude? I hope you're doing awesome. Let's see here. Yeah, you know what? I thought that I saw him. Yeah, I did. Self-publishing with Dale. There he is. What's up, dude? I hope you're doing great. So Dale says right here, just as an example of what I was talking about, he says, when I got rid of my bumper, I saw a considerable increase in retention. I started at 15 seconds, dropped to 10, then to 5, then to 3, then nothing. Having nothing was the winner. Yeah, so that's just another example of that particular situation. So, you know, it's just all just food for thought, right? Just food for thought on using the intro, or, you know, hiding your subscriber count. You know, like with the subscriber count, though, it's not something that's going to move the needle anyway. That's more of like a preference than it is anything. But the intro, that will move the needle, or, you know, that will help, because then you bypass the interruption to the content. So then, you know, you'll be able to keep people watching for a longer period of time. All right. So next up on our list here, we have, let's see, your podcast channel for artists. We got that one taken care of. Next up, we've got Alak Chitra, I think is how you say this. Alak Chitra says they've been on YouTube for less than 6 months. They do tutorial videos on photography and digital post-processing. I just want to tell you that I love Lightroom. Any Lightroom users in here? And this mention isn't like sponsored in any way, shape, or form. It's weird to even have to say that, but it's not sponsored in any way, shape, or form. But I love Lightroom. I've just been getting like deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into Lightroom. Been using it for a long time, but like I really, really love Lightroom. Anybody a Lightroom fan in here? Anybody use that for their like processing images and stuff? Absolutely love it. Just give me a hashtag me. But the goal of the channel is to help out hobbyists and amateur photographers. And the question is, we're creating videos in our mother tongue, Bengali. As the subject is very niche, do you suggest us to make the future videos in English? No. So if you have we got some other Lightroom fans in here. That's what I'm talking about. Well, at least one. I see one here. I don't know about a bunch, but one. So Tiny Orchard Quilts, thanks for the feedback there on the Lightroom. But when it comes to your making videos in your native tongue, like if you have built the channel or you've already got some activity happening in Bengali, I would keep it in Bengali, because like if that's the people that are responding to your content because you've made the content in that language, you don't want to combine two languages on the one channel, because if you can combine the two languages on one channel, one video is going to go out in Bengali, and then YouTube is going to, show that to some people that are English speaking. When they click on it, as soon as they come into the video and they hear it's not English, they're going to bounce. Same exact thing on the English side with the Bengali. So because of that, like pick your language and just go hard on making the content for that particular language, or just create another channel. All right, so we got some more feedback on Lightroom. There we go. Good. All right, so next up on our list here, and by the way, if you're just joining the stream, I do want to remind you that this stream is brought to you by TubeBuddy, the #1 browser plugin for YouTube content creators. Helps you like tag your videos, helps you test your thumbnails to make sure you're making effective thumbnails, helps you come up with great video ideas, helps you optimize your videos for search, things like that. You can install TubeBuddy free at tubebuddy.com/Nimmin. I got a link to it down in the description below. It is an affiliate link. And then I also have this co-sponsored by StreamYard, StreamYard.com, which is what I actually use to live stream this show. It's the easiest live streaming platform I've ever ran across, I've ever used. And you can try that out at StreamYard.com. You can easily pull in guests. You can stream to multiple sites at one time. And it's the easiest thing that you'll ever use for live streaming. But you can check that out at StreamYard.com. Links to both down in the description. Okay, so now this question comes from Team Neo. Go Team Neo. Says they do exports gaming team. The goal of the channel is to make people happy, inspire them, and grow a community and fan base. And the question is, I've been losing subscribers recently. I use all your tips. Do you have a suggestion? Yeah. If you're losing subscribers, then it comes down to one of a few things. One of them is that it's possible, I'm not sure where you're at or what you've done, but it's possible that you've went to places like Reddit and you've went to like the YouTuber groups and you're like, hey, give me feedback on my video. And people use that as a way to be like, oh, hey, this person needs subscribers. Let's go subscribe to them. And then those people don't really care about the content. And because of that, it might seem like, oh yeah, this is great. I'm getting, every time I post one of these review videos, my subscribers go up, but then those people end up unsubscribing or they don't watch the content, that kind of thing. So it works against you. So that could have happened. It could have been sub stuff where they leave, or it could just simply be that that's how YouTube works. So over the course of my YouTube channel, I've lost, I'm actually going to pull up my analytics here. I've lost, last time I checked, it was like 150,000 subscribers that I've lost over the course of my YouTube channel. So if you are losing subscribers, it's just important to know that that's, that's just, it happens. People subscribe for, or unsubscribe for different reasons. Some of those reasons are that people, like they subscribe to your channel now. And then after, a certain period of time, they're like, you know what? I just don't watch this content anymore. Like, how many channels do you subscribe to that you're like, hey, Car Galaxy Studios in the house. What's up, dude? Hope you're doing great. But like, how many people have you subscribed to? And then, not much, like 6 months later, you're like, oh, wow, I got suggested this video, but I haven't watched this channel in like 6 months. Right. And sure, like, I'm just going to unsubscribe just because as YouTubers, you might not do this, but, other people do this to where it's like, I haven't watched channels from this for a long time. So I'm just going to unsubscribe. So I don't watch that content anymore. I found somebody else that I resonate with more, or whatever it happens to be. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm trying to pull this up. Give me 1 second here, because this is going to be funny. Actually, I don't want to waste your time with it. So let me just keep answering questions. So basically when it comes to losing subscribers, just don't even worry about it. In addition to that, YouTube also does do purges from time to time to where they delete bot accounts or people that you see in your comments and they leave like the same comment on 10 different videos. Eventually those people, if they're just copying pasting comments like that, eventually YouTube will flag them as well. In some cases they'll lose their channels over it. Some cases they'll just get shadow banned. But at the end of the day, they'll lose their in some cases they'll end up losing their channels over it. Okay, next question that we have here on this list is from Midnight Terror 890 Official. Says they upload one time per week for more. It is a nerfing channel. And the goal of the channel says, we don't have a goal, but it's nice to get monetized so we can afford making more content. The question is, I'm wondering what is the best way to make a channel large? Have a goal. So I know it's not what you wanted to hear, but it is kind of like, one of the things that helps, because when you have a goal, then you know what it is that you need to do in order to achieve that goal. So as an example, if you have a goal of, growing the channel, then in that case, what you have to do is you have to think to yourself like, okay, well, if we're going to grow the channel, the goal isn't just to grow the channel, let's be specific. Okay, we're going to have X amount of subscribers by this time next year. So in order to make that happen, we got to look at what it is that we're doing now. What's happening on the channel right now? How many subscribers are we gaining per day? And based on that subscriber gain per day, are we going to be able to hit the goal that we have? If the answer is no, then you have to start putting yourself against the wall and you have to say, okay, well, if we can't hit that right now, what do we have to do in order to hit it? Does that come down to learning more so that you can make better titles and make better thumbnails? Is it, watching videos on editing so you can pull people through your content more? Is it uploading more videos to your YouTube channel? So that you can, increase the rate that people are coming in. You increase your output, which can, as long as you're making effective content, which can also increase the input in terms of, your subscribers and views and all that good stuff. So, it's important to, have that goal so that you can make sure that you're hitting the right thing, or so that you're making the right choices in order to hit it. So here's something I'm going to show you real quick. Check this out. It's much higher now. So here, I'm just making sure I'm not exposing anything like crazy. Okay. So yeah, here's my channel. Over the lifetime of the channel, if you look right here, I've lost 191,000 subscribers on the channel. That's crazy, right? 191,000 subscribers on the channel over the course of the thing. So in total, like I've got 680,000 now, but in total I've gained 872,000. But almost 200,000 of those people have since bailed. So don't sweat it. When you lose, like a handful of subscribers, don't even worry about it. Right? Don't worry about it. But one thing you do want to do though is you do want to, don't get me wrong, like I'm being kind of like weird about it, but don't get me wrong, like you have to pay attention to things like, if I'm putting out content, because I don't want to just put out the blanket statement, because I know, a lot of you are new, so I don't want to just put out this thing like, don't care, because you should care. So what you don't want to do is you don't want to keep making videos that are causing people to unsubscribe from your channel. So you want to keep making videos that are causing people to subscribe to your channel if you're trying to increase your subscriber count. So you can go into your stats, the thing that I just showed you, actually, you can look at that at the video level, and you can just look, like YouTube makes it easy to find in your analytics to where you can see, videos that have generated subscribers. So like on my channel, and I'm going into it again here, on my channel, I have videos that have generated like 40,000 subscribers, right? So like what you have to do is you have to go in, you have to start identifying the content that has driven the subscribers to your YouTube channel. And once you identify the content that's driven the subscribers to your YouTube channel, then it's like, hey, people are responding to these types of videos. So because of that, I'm going to make sure that I make more of this content because people are subscribing for it if the goal is subscriber count. So like, for example, yeah, like this one video right here, I can't show it to you because of the money. Let's see here. Anyway, I have one video on my channel. I just pulled up one off the top of my head, and this one video has generated 62,000 subscribers, 62.4 thousand subscribers on my channel just from one video that I uploaded back in 2017. So over the last 3 years, this video has generated over 62,000 subscribers. So like what you have to do is you have to go in and you have to say, okay, when I publish videos and YouTube is showing me a deficit, like they're showing me a loss in subscriber count, that means people didn't resonate with that content. So because of that, I need to give it some time to see if I start gaining subscribers from it. But if I don't, then I need to put that on my list of like, people didn't respond to this. And then you have to do the same exact thing that you do for positive videos in terms of like, hey, I'm getting gains from these. You have to do the same thing to where you go and you're like, why? Why do I think people didn't enjoy this? Why would this video make people unsubscribe from my YouTube channel? And then you need to start identifying that, and then you need to start making less of those videos if you care about, you know, the loss in subscribers. Okay, so next up on our list is, let's see here. Rose Rocket says DaVinci Resolve is a great free editor. It is. Mike's Auto Detailing. What's up, dude? Nice to see you in here. Hope you're doing great. Kryptonite 1546 says, how can I make YouTube to recommend my channel or videos? Great question. I'm putting this one on the screen right now, Kryptonite. So the question is, and I'm pulling these from the forum. Oops, sorry about that. I'm pulling these from the forum, but I just saw this one, so I just want to highlight it for a second. So when it comes to making people or making YouTube recommend your videos, your channel or your videos, it comes down to you making videos that are competitive with other videos on the platform so that it's worth YouTube showing them to people. So what I mean by that is, I talked about this before, Kryptonite, but what I mean by that is that YouTube is trying to generate watch time per impression on their platform to keep people on the platform and so they can keep, you know, selling ads, right? But in addition to that, they want their viewers to have an awesome experience, because the only way that YouTube can sell more ads is if they keep bringing more people onto the platform to watch the videos that we make. So because of that, in order to give them what it is that they want, we have to give their viewers, their customers, we have to give them a satisfactory experience so that their users, a satisfactory experience so that they'll keep coming back to the platform. So what happens is YouTube systems are identifying in real time with all the videos that we're putting out. Over 500 hours of videos are uploaded to YouTube every single minute, which is nuts. But anyway, out of the videos that are uploaded to YouTube every minute, YouTube is identifying all the content in their entire inventory for all the different, you know, demographics, all the different markets, all of that, all the different types of users. Their system is identifying the stuff that people respond to and the stuff that people don't. And the stuff that people respond to more, that's the stuff that you see all over YouTube. The stuff that people don't respond to as much, that's the stuff that you see like here and there. And the stuff that people just aren't responding to, that's just because they haven't just learned to get a response yet, that's the stuff that, you know, that takes some time for that creator to put out enough content to where they learn through practice of how to get people to respond to what it is that they're doing. That's why YouTube is hard. Right. So you see people like, you know, like Mr. Beast, for example, like he's figured it out. He crushes it every time. And YouTube knows that. So when he publishes a video, YouTube knows that people respond. They know that he's good at getting people to respond. So they show his content to a lot of people, and those people do respond. And then YouTube keeps showing his content to more and more people. So the same exact thing applies to you as a content creator, for everybody that's watching this right now. Like, you have to help YouTube serve their goal. If you help YouTube serve their goal, you will do awesome here on YouTube. If you don't help YouTube serve their goal of giving viewers an awesome experience so they'll keep coming back to the platform so that they can keep showing ads, so that they keep selling ads, so they can keep making money. If you don't help them serve that goal, then your videos aren't going to surface. Because basically how this whole thing works is when you upload a video, it's not that YouTube says, hey, Kryptonite just published a video. Let's show this video to tons of people all over the platform. It doesn't work that way. What happens is, and this information actually comes from Todd, who's on the search and discovery team at YouTube. And it comes from, I think his name is Christoph or Christopher or something like that. But I listened to him in a podcast, but Todd, I actually had this conversation with him. But basically how it works is when you publish a video, YouTube systems, they say, who's on the platform right now? Who's coming onto YouTube? Who's on YouTube right now? Who would be most likely to watch and enjoy this piece of content at this point in time? That's it. And then if your content qualifies for that, then YouTube is going to show your content to those people. Now, here's the part that falls on you, right? YouTube does that initially. Here's a very small sample of people. Let's see how they respond. The next part comes down to you. And that part is, how good are you at getting people to respond? If you do, and people start responding to it, it doesn't matter if it's your very first video and you don't have any other videos on your channel. If people respond at a really high rate, then YouTube's systems are going to identify people are clicking on this. People are watching this for a longer period of time. And then they're going and watching a video that this person recommended or whatever. And their system's going to identify that, and they're just going to keep showing it to people. So because of that, you have to think to yourself, like, if I'm not getting activity, that means that I need to keep developing my skill set. I need to keep practicing. I need to keep uploading content. I need to keep making thumbnails, keep workshopping my titles and trying to think of how to make titles that people respond to, so that I can make content that when YouTube does show it to people on the platform that are most likely to watch it at that point in time based on what the video is about, then in that case, those people will click on it, some of those people, and they will come in and watch and enjoy the content. And then YouTube will keep showing my content to more and more people. So if you're not getting any activity, it's because of that. Like, you gotta get better at getting people to respond.
Welcome to the Nimminati.
Nairi Squires, welcome to the Nimminati. Make sure that next time you're on Facebook, you look for Nimminati VIP. It's our members only Facebook group. If you don't want to do it that way, you can actually find the group, a link to it in the description of the members only videos here on YouTube. You can find those in the community feed, or if you just go to my channel, they should be at the very top if you're on a computer. But you know, we'll see you over there. Make sure you fill out all of the questions on the way in, because that's how I actually verify that you are a channel member. There's also some freebies over there for you. Like, for example, I've got like this little thing that's down here in the corner of the video right now, depending on the device that you're watching this on. You know, like that, you can find it in there. I've got, you know, all kinds of different stuff. I got Lightroom presets, all kinds of like fun stuff and for the channel members. So it's an awesome community too. So like, I check in there every day, but it's cool. Like, when I check in, like, this is how awesome the community is getting. So like, when I check into the members only Facebook group, like, I'll check in there usually like in the morning, I'll check in the evening, and then at night. And like, when I check in, it's awesome when I go in and I see that like people have answered other people's questions and they've answered them like accurately, to where it's like, hey, I'm just giving this one a thumbs up because they nailed it. They got this one taken care of. But it's like, it's turned into like a really awesome group. So looking forward to having you in it. Okay, so next up on our list here, we got Midnight Terror 890. Who's your daddy? Food and travel. Just love that they ask questions every week, because I just like saying that name. They have a food and travel reviews channel. The goal of the channel is I want to do food and travel reviews full time on YouTube. And the question is, how can you tell someone to subscribe to your channel? Is there a way to see who your subscribers are? So you used to be able to see your entire subscriber list, but now if you go to your dashboard, you can see like the recent subscribers in the last 90 days. And actually, do they have lifetime? Huh. Yeah, okay, so they have lifetime. Yeah, so you can just do it that way. So basically, all you do, and we're going by, can I just send this all the way to the back? Yeah, you just keep going back. Fantastic. Yeah, okay, so all you have to do is you go into your YouTube studio on your computer. If you're on a mobile device, because I see that you make your videos on an iPhone 11 Pro, what you want to do is you want to go up into, if you are in Google Chrome, and I'm going to show you here. So in Google Chrome, what you want to do is you want to go down here to the very bottom, and then you want to click on that. And then when you click on that, let's see if I can get it in focus there. You're going to see an option. Oh, not there. Let me scroll it up. Right here. You're going to see that option for all you mobile content creators. You're going to see that option for request desktop site. So you want to go to YouTube and you want to click on that. Once you click on that on YouTube, then you're going to click your channel profile up in the top right, and then you're going to click on Creator Studio. When you click on that, it's going to try to get you to go into like an app, but you can just click skip. And then it will take you right into your Creator Studio backend. And then down in the bottom right-hand corner, it might display differently on the mobile, but down in the bottom right-hand corner, you'll see recent subscribers. If you click on that, click on See All, and then up in the top right-hand side, then we can click on Lifetime, and then it will show all of the subscribers in there that have made their subscriptions public. The way they used to display that was better. It was just easier to go through. All right, let me move this down. Okay, so really quick, for everybody that has that's just joined the stream, I do want to remind you also, if you haven't yet, make sure that you follow me on Instagram. Make sure you follow me on Twitter as well. And make sure that if you haven't yet, that you sign up for my VIP email. That's basically a newsletter that goes out from time to time. Really, it's like if anything big happens, any big events happen on YouTube, it's there. I also have like a sequence that happens when you first sign up. Just let you know of like, the good places to like find everything and all of that. I'm redoing that whole thing to where like over time, it's going to, just share like different tips and tricks and all that good stuff and awesome resources and all that for you. But you can sign up for that right here as well on my website, nicknimmin.com/VP. But at the very least, make sure that you're following me on Instagram and on Twitter as well. Okay, so next question that we have here on the list is from Teen MT Burr. And Teen MT Burr says they have a mountain biking channel. The goal of the channel is to share my experiences with the person behind the screen. And the question is, how do I get a new subscriber every day? Make content that people enjoy. That's it. So in order to make content that people enjoy, you have to think, okay, if I am sharing my I think it was mountain biking experiences. Let me back up to that one. Yeah, if you're sharing your mountain biking experiences and people are not subscribing to your channel, then you need to work on your content. You need to work on, the value that you think they're getting out of your content. You need to work on it or make it more clear. And what I mean by that is you can do little things like let people know. Just in passing, you can do it at the very beginning of your video like I do in some of my content. You can have a little graphic that pops up to remind them to subscribe for more mountain biking videos or more videos like this. You can verbally say it. So you can even say it while you're riding, right? If you're doing mountain biking adventures, if you're mic'd up, like while you're riding the bike, you can be like, oh, hey, by the way, I put out videos like this every week. So remember to subscribe. And by what you're doing there is you're letting people know you're watching this video because you have clicked on this video because you're interested in watching this type of content. I'm telling you that I'm putting out content like this every single week. And all you have to do to get it is just click the subscribe button, right? So what you're doing right there is you're just reminding people to subscribe to the YouTube channel, because a lot of times people will just get interested in watching the content, right? How many times have you watched a great video on YouTube and you're like, hey, awesome video. But then you're like, oh, wait a minute, I didn't even think about like subscribing to the channel. Now I have to go into my history and I have to find that video and all this stuff. And it becomes an ordeal that you probably won't do. But if it's really good content, people are engaged in the content. They're not thinking about subscribe. So YouTubers, you guys are, but like most people aren't thinking about the subscribe. So because of that, you have to just remind people to subscribe. It's a proven thing. It works without question. If you remind people to subscribe, you will increase your view to subscribe ratio. It's proven time and time again. I've personally proven it time and time again. So make sure that you're reminding people to subscribe to your YouTube channel. Don't beg. Tell them why they should subscribe and then invite them to subscribe, and they will. Canon iGaming says how to speed up the content that I create or the quantity. When I think about the process of gathering resources, research, editing, thumbnail, I am lost. Okay, so this is one of those situations, Canon iGaming, where practice makes perfect. So one of the things that that's important to consider is if you're just getting started and you are, putting out content and you're like, man, I'm making thumbnails, I'm making videos, I'm editing those videos, I'm getting them up to YouTube, I'm doing keyword research. There's a lot of steps. There's a lot of stuff and it takes a lot of time, right? But when you are doing this whole thing, you have to think to yourself like, okay, I'm just getting started. Just like when I first got, a new operating system, like you're sitting there and you're having to figure out like where everything's at, and it takes you longer to do stuff because you just haven't done it before. Once you start doing, once you practice more, you're going to get better at it. You're going to get faster. You're going to find little systems, little shortcuts that will help speed everything up. But let's just talk about specifically how you can do that. Maybe I can shortcut some of that for you. So when it comes to speeding up the content that you create or the quantity, let's think about the process that you're taking here. And I'm basing this off of your comment. So in terms of gathering resources, batch it. So batch it. So what I mean by that is instead of thinking like I'm making one video at a time, think, okay, these are the videos that I want to make. So when I'm researching content, when I'm gathering resources, I'm going to also keep an eye out for resources and research that I can do for the next like 2 or 3 videos so that I can just go ahead and start dropping those into a folder as I'm finding those as well, which is going to shortcut the time when I start, looking for the research stuff on those particular videos as well, because I already have some of the assets that I'm going to use for the video in place or in folders for that. When it comes to editing, start using templates, start paying really close attention to how you're recording your videos. When you're recording your videos, if possible, with the type of content that you make, record for the edit. And what I mean by that is when you're putting your content together and you're recording the actual content, think of it from the standpoint of like, okay, when I'm editing this, is this going to slow me down? Or is this going to speed me up? Am I putting like a lot of dead space here? So for example, if I'm doing a screen recording, right? Because I'm putting together a video on like step-by-step how to get views with TubeBuddy. And with that particular video, there's some parts in there to where, there's some space to where I'm waiting for things to load and, things like that. And because of that, to make the screen recording easier, because I'm editing the screen recording before I pass it off. And when I am editing the screen recording, I need to be able to identify quickly, like where are those dead spots. So one thing that I'll do is I'll clap, bam. And then when I clap, then in addition to seeing the dead spot in the waveform, I will see that spike as well. So instead of having to look through the waveform and look for that dead spot, I'm just looking for the spike, because that stands out more than anything else. So then I just go straight to the spike. I know I have to cut there, so I cut, and then I make any adjustments, and then I, slide everything together, and then I move on. And by doing that, it helps me, cut out those dead spaces super quick. So, little things like that is what you have to think of when you're recording your content. Like, how can I give myself little cues in the content so that when I'm editing the content, I can get through everything a little bit faster. And then, of course, using templates if possible. So if you have any type of graphics that you use in your videos, any common elements, let's say it's an intro song, let's say it's like backing tracks. Let's say that you have like a certain, 2 or 3 different backing tracks that you bounce between for, like the buildup of your video when it's first starting or when it's ending or whatever. Let's say you have your end screen in there. Let's say you have a lower third that comes up and it shows your name, kind of like I have this thing right here. Then in that situation, what you can do is you can make one template file in your video editing software, save that in its own folder, call it template, and then before you edit any videos, copy and paste that folder, name it the name of your video, open it up, name the file the name of your video, and then open that up, and then you already have some music choices in there. You already have your end screen in there. You have your lower third in there. If you're somebody that uses an intro, you have that in there. Any other supporting graphics, countdown numbers, things like that, you've already got that in there. So then all you have to do is you have to just bring the video content and you just move things around as you're, going through the editing process, instead of having to go, where's my intro? Let me get these songs. Let me, go into this folder, click into that folder, grab my end screen, right? So it just speeds up the process that way because you already have everything put together. So those are some things that you can do when it comes to speeding up your process. Hopefully that helped. Live streaming pros in the house. What's up, guys? Hope that you are doing awesome. Says, hey, dude, Slider, really upping your game. Yeah, like just trying to make it cool, since we're not in the studio, figured, trying to level things up here at home a bit. So thank you for the kind words. It means a lot coming from you. So just as a heads up, Live Streaming Pros, so they do live streaming specific content. So if you're a live streamer, you need to be following Live Streaming Pros. They share tons of amazing content about live streaming. So if you are a gamer and you're live streaming, if you're a professional and you're doing any live streaming, if you live stream for like events or for your church or whatever it happens to be for your school, because I know a lot of people are inside right now doing a lot of live streaming. So if you're doing that for anything, you need to go over and check out their YouTube channel, because they have tons of amazing content over there for live streamers. And they also have a community as well on live streaming as well, to where they're basically, it's like a whole community full of just other people that are live streaming, where they, help each other out in terms of tech and all that good stuff. Awesome stuff they have going on over there, and you need to be subscribed to them if you're into the streaming space. Psychic Medium Misty,
Welcome to the Nimminati.
Welcome to the Nimminati. Make sure that next time you're on Facebook, you look for the Nimminati VIP Facebook group. Make sure you fill out all the questions on the way in, because that's how I verify that you're a channel member. And also make sure you check the community feed here, because there's some stuff in there as well. You're gonna have to scroll a lot, but there's some freebies in there, some freebies in the Facebook group, and there's some members only videos here on YouTube as well. Okay, let me go back into this. I lost my place here. So I can make sure I don't miss anything. Okay. So Everyday Matters saying, thank you, Nick. Hey, thank you, Everyday Matters, for swinging into the live stream. I hope that you're doing fantastic. Chords and Crafts says, wow, I hope one of these days I'll be able to do live streaming. Here's the thing. When it comes to live streaming, you can do it right now. You can start live streaming right now if you want to, but I can tell you that if you are considering in the future doing live streaming, go ahead and subscribe to Live Streaming Pros right now, because you will learn, you'll know the ins and outs of live streaming before you even hit the go button. So, or the live button. So because of that, if you think you're going to be live streaming in the future, then you definitely want to go ahead and you want to go ahead and get on that, start watching their content, because it's going to help you out a ton. Okay, so next up on our list here, we've got, let me move this, close that. There we go. Okay, so next on our list, and just in case you're just joining us, what we're doing right now is I am answering your YouTube questions. So I'm pulling them from the form down in the description below. But I'm also going to just sample them from time to time out of the chat like I did here just a minute ago as well. Just for the sake of, some of you are just coming in, maybe you're just waking up and you didn't have the opportunity to, get your question in the form in a timely manner. So I will answer some of those as well. So I can make sure to, add value to you also. So the next one here is from Tech Review 2000, says that they have a tech review channel. The goal says, I would like to help people make a wise purchase decision by giving them access to quality tech reviews on my channel. The question, what makes a thumbnail more catchy for my type of content? Focus on the actual thing. So if you are making tech review content, focus on the thing. Now you have to decide and you have to test on if you are wanting to, put yourself in the thumbnail, as part of like hey, this is me, I'm making this content, I'm building this personal brand, like right along with my tech channel. If that's the case, then you have to make the decision on, okay, am I going to have some high quality pictures that I can use and so that I can, start using them in some thumbnails as well. And then you want to test, hey, are people actually responding to me in the thumbnail better, or are they responding to just the tech better? But what I would start with, like if you're just trying to get traction, is I would just start with just focusing on the thing. So the example that I like to give, let's do something different today. Okay. Can I get this close to the camera? I don't know. So let's say, here, we'll do this. Where there's a will. Okay. I'm like dismantling my whole thing here. Okay. So let's say that I have a review channel. In that review channel, I'm just turning this sideways. So we're going into like vertical mode. Okay. Let's say that I have a tech channel. And in that tech channel, let's say that I am reviewing a switch pod, which these are awesome, by the way. I don't know if you guys have seen these. Basically, put your camera here. It's for vloggers. It's all like counterweighted and stuff. This thing's wicked. But it's called a switch pod, by the way. But anyway, with this, if I was reviewing this, then in that case, right? Like if I was, the thumbnails had like me and I'm just holding it like this, then there's not a lot of detail. There's not a lot of information, in terms of like what this could possibly be about. What is this thing? Is this used for cooking? Is it used for cameras? Like, what is it? But if it was specifically like targeted for search and I was trying to pull traffic from search for like a switch pod review, then in that case, I might want to just focus right here. See if I can get it to focus. Let me hide my face. There we go. Then I would, if I did something like this to where the switch pod itself was fully taking up the thumbnail and you were looking for the switch pod, then that, has a stronger focus on the switch pod. It's clear the video is about the switch pod. Or, I could put it like this in some way, maybe put a camera on it and then not have pretty much anything else going on to where the whole focus, see if I can do this here, to where the whole focus would be on, it's not going to work. But anyway, to where the whole focus would be on the actual switch pod itself, right? So the idea is like whatever it is that you're making the content about or the tech reviews about, like focus it on the object. Now, you're going to have to do A/B testing. TubeBuddy makes that possible, but you're going to have to do A/B testing. And when you do the A/B testing, which is basically where you test thumbnails against each other, then what's going to happen is you're going to start to notice, hey, when I do, and TubeBuddy has something really cool coming out, by the way, you guys, it is wicked. When it comes to thumbnails, it's going to blow your mind. Like all you TubeBuddy users, it's awesome. Absolutely awesome. I got access to it last night and it is just awesome. It's going to be coming out here in the next few weeks, but you're going to absolutely love it. It's like a revolution for thumbnails. But anyway, when you are putting your content together, your thumbnails, you just want to start testing it so that you can start identifying the things that people respond to the most. So if you're doing those tech reviews and you notice that, hey, if I put myself in here for whatever reason with my audience, the people that YouTube is showing my content to, people are really responding to that, to me in there too. Maybe it's my face grabbing their attention. Maybe it's me holding the thing. Maybe it's my gorgeous smile. I don't know what it is, but people are responding to it. So because of that, you would want to start using yourself in your thumbnails more. Now, if the case was opposite to where you start testing and you're like, hey, people aren't responding to this as much with my face in it, then in that case, then of course you would want to make sure that you take that down. Now, in terms of the thumbnail testing that I was talking about, just so I can show you, because I showed this at the beginning of the stream too, but for those of you that haven't seen this yet, and let me take this thing off of the screen here. Adult Education Ingredients, Rosella Wong, welcome to the channel membership.
Welcome to the Nimminati.
All right. Love that. Okay. So in terms of the A/B testing tool, this is why it's so important to test. So like in this example, right? Like you can see this thumbnail that I was testing. I have the one with my face in it. And then I also have, let me scroll through down here. And then I have the one without my face in it. So the one without my face in it is clearly targeting YouTubers where the other one isn't. So if I'm trying to get that response directly from the thumbnail, then, that one's way more clear. I have 10 apps for YouTubers. I have a phone in it for the sake of connecting with those people. But basically the thing is with the TubeBuddy A/B testing tool, you can see here that I was able to raise my click-through rate on this more than 1%, which is great. And in addition to that, I was also, because the expectation that's created when people click on that thumbnail and the title, I was also able to raise my watch time per impression by a handful of seconds. And then I was also able to increase my average view duration by just a little bit by using the new thumbnail. And depending on what I'm targeting with this, which I'm always trying to get on homepages next to other videos. I target search too, but like those are like my primaries. But like with this, it also tells me, that, hey, in YouTube search, this one does better. In suggested, this one does better. And in browse, this one does better. So because of that, if I'm trying to tackle all of these and I just want as more exposure as possible to this particular video, then this is data that tells me that people respond better to this particular one that doesn't have my face in it. So my pride is not big enough. Okay, maybe it is. Maybe it is to where I'll still use my face in it. But anyway, my pride's not big enough to where I'm going to say like, hey, I'm going to sacrifice this video because I just want to put my face in it, right? So because of that, like I always put my face in them like when I start most of the time. But like in when I'm doing testing, if I find a video does better without my face, I'm just using it. Like, I don't care. Like I'll use that thumbnail because I want the performance of the video. I want to bring people in. I don't care why they come in. I want them to come in and I want them to enjoy the content. So if it means taking my face off of a thumbnail, then I will take my face off of the thumbnail if need be. Now, in terms of like long game, one reason, just as a quick side note for those of you that don't know this, because I talk about this from time to time anyway, but even when people didn't know who, they didn't watch my channel, they didn't know who I was, I would still use my face in my thumbnails. And the reason that I was doing that is because I still wanted people to see my face, because of that whole recognition thing, right? So I still wanted people to see my face because even if they weren't clicking on my thumbnails as much, or if they didn't click on my thumbnail, they're still seeing my face all the time. So the better that YouTube gets at showing them my content, the better I get at reaching those people. The more they see my face, the more you saw it, the more chances are that you're going to actually click on it. Like, who is this guy? I keep seeing this dude. Let me click on this and see what this is about, right? So because of that, it was more of like I want people to get to be familiar with seeing my face. So for a really long time, before my channel even had any traction, I was showing my face in my thumbnails for that reason. Science-Based Fitness says, thanks for the intro advice. If you ever want to do a Zoom workout session, let me know, no charge. Tell you what, man, I could need it. Or I could use it. Like this staying inside stuff and not getting out a lot and all of that. Like we're pretty much back to normal here, but I still, I'm just inside a lot. I'm just a geek. So I hang out a lot in front of my computers. Like my computers are my homies. But I did put in some extra pounds though, when I had 2 months, I think, where I didn't even leave except for one day a week for the grocery, and just wasn't much activity, things like that. So I definitely put on a few pounds, and I could probably use that workout. But thanks. All right, so let's see here. Next up on our list, we have living ironically in Europe. That actually sounds hilarious in terms of a channel. The type of channel is travel and education. The goal of the channel is to grow my audience and grow my income. The question is, could you talk more about obtaining sponsorships? For an example, how did you acquire one with TubeBuddy? Okay, so when it comes to sponsorships, the idea is that they have to approach you or you have to approach them. So sometimes back in the day, I would approach people, but in a majority of the sponsorships that I've had, I actually just let them approach me. And the reason for that is because I actually approached TubeBuddy for the sponsorship, but basically everybody else approached me. And the reason for that, with the exception of one other, and the reason for that is because I didn't go that hard on sponsorship stuff because I have my own stuff to promote. So like I promote things as an affiliate. I have my own websites like tubertools.com. I have my padplanet.com and things like that I bring attention to anyway. So like I don't need the sponsorships. They're just awesome to have, right? So because of that, like when I'm like if I don't have a sponsor, like I have my own stuff to promote. If I do have sponsors, that's cool because I can still promote my stuff, but then I promote their stuff too, right? So so when it comes to that, like what I recommend in terms of reaching out and things I've done with clients in the past is that you want to put together a media kit. You want to basically try to get on the radar. And what that means is send out emails to every single company that you can possibly imagine that would have anything to do with what it is that you're doing, and just let them know that you're making content, you enjoy their products, you use their products sometimes in your videos, and that you are open to working together with them in some way. If they have any ideas, then let you know. Some of those people will hit you back with no thanks, we're not doing anything like that. Some people will hit you back and try to give you money. Some people will hit you back and try to give you free products. In addition to that, you can also start a follow-up sequence because essentially what you're doing is sales. So you start a follow-up sequence to where the initial listen to me, where the initial email is a contact email. Hey, what's up? I'm let's see here. That was a super chat, so I can't remember the channel name, but like like, hey, I am, hold on, I'm just gonna refresh so I can pull up the channel name, make this a little bit more relevant here. Hey, what's up? I'm science-based fitness. Wait, is that here or was that down here? Oh, no, never mind. It is. It's living ironically in Europe. Okay. So it's like, hey, what's up? I'm living ironically in Europe. I have a YouTube channel and I, use your products sometimes when I travel. And, I love your suitcases. And I just want to let you know that I have a YouTube channel. If there's, any way that I can, help you guys out, let me know. I just wanted to let you know that I'm here. And the whole thing with that is you're just letting them know that you're on their radar. Now, for them, if you reach out to their influencer marketing person, there's a really good chance that their influencer marketing person is going to say, okay, here's a new content creator. They're making this type of content. So in the event that we decide that we have a new product come out, we want to start reaching out to influencers. Now this person's on the radar. They're in our database because they add influencers to their database. So they're in our database now. So now we have this additional person to reach out to in the event that we have, a new product line coming out or something like that. So the idea on that initial email is to get yourself on the radar. Then after that, then you can do follow-up emails like 3 months later, 6 months later. Hey, what's going on? Yeah, I sent you an email, like 6 months ago. The channel's just, doing great. Since then I'm getting a lot of viewers. My community is really active. Still using your products. I wanted to hit you up and see if, I have this travel video that I'm working on. I just wanted to send you an email and see if you want me to feature your backpack or your luggage or whatever happens to be in it. And in some cases, they'll just send you the stuff. And in other cases, you'll open up the door to negotiate with them in terms of, pricing and that kind of stuff if you wanted to actually charge money for it. But basically, it's just a sales process. So you just start with the initial, hey, what's up? This is me. And then you just keep going with follow-ups and follow-ups and follow-ups and follow-ups so that you can, eventually end up working something out. Also, make sure that you that you have a media kit as well, so that you can explain like who your audience is, why it is that you do what you do, why you think they're a good fit for what it is that you're doing. You can put your social media reach in there as well, like your YouTube channel, your Twitter, your Instagram, your TikTok. All the reach that you have. Put your average video performance in there, your average post performance, that kind of stuff, so that you can let them know that, like what it is that you can possibly do for them with their with your channel. All right. Next up on the list, we have AKA Cool Vlogger. If I had my sunglasses here, I'd put them on. AKA Cool Vlogger says they upload when they have time. They've been on YouTube for less than 6 months. They have the channel's edits. I'm not sure what that is. The goal of the channel is when I get older, I want to drive a Lamborghini. I wasn't laughing because you want to drive a Lamborghini. That's awesome. I was just laughing at the when I get older part. But when I get older, I want to drive a Lamborghini. That's the goal of the channel. And the question is, why do YouTubers shout people out? Okay, so YouTubers shout people out because they come to people's attention. So for example, somebody that I know, they got a shout out, multiple shout outs actually from Shane Dawson. And when they got their shout outs, it was because she's extremely talented. She's good at what she does. And she came on their radar. They were watching YouTube videos. They saw her video and they're like, holy cow, this girl's awesome. And they told their community about it. So they went from like not having many subscribers to over 400,000 in the course of like a couple of weeks. Might have been less, but it was really fast because of that particular shout out. But typically, unless you're getting shouted out by a major channel, you'll get a bump, you'll get some subscribers, but it's not going to be anything that's going to like, you know, be a life changer for you unless they're a massive channel. But when it comes to shout outs, it really comes down to people just appreciating your work. You know, they're appreciating your work. They're appreciating what it is that you do. They've ran across your content in some way and they have found enough value in it to mention you to other content creators. So from time to time, if you look in my community feed, from time to time, I'll actually, you know, share posts in there too of content creators that I find that I'm like, wow, this person's like really good. They're doing something like really unique. And I'll share it for the sake of like showing you, hey, this is something that people are, you know, some people are like, you know, like this is something unique. So you need to take note of what's happening here because they're doing something awesome. As an example, a channel that I ran into recently that I keep bringing up, Jose, thank you. I appreciate the kind words. Thank you. But one of the channels that I keep bringing up is Trago. Awesome YouTube channel, Trago. If you look for it in YouTube search, basically he explains filmmaking and the art of filmmaking, but he does it in like a really like fun and clever way. He's not on camera, it's just voiceover, but his voice is awesome. It sounds great. The way that he puts the content together with the timing, with his jokes, with, you know, all the different stuff that he's showing and how he's explaining things, easy to understand. It's entertaining to watch. It makes you laugh. It's like all the stuff. And when I first found the channel, I found it through Reddit and they had, I don't think they're at like 800 subscribers yet. Now, I don't even think they have 10 videos and they're already at 10,000 subscribers. So, you know, they came in with something unique and they're just really good. And since they're really good, then, you know, like I'm talking about them right now. I've shared their video in the community feed. I've mentioned them on Twitter. I've mentioned them in video. I think one of my videos recently I mentioned them in, and I've mentioned them in past live streams as well, because they're just really, really awesome. And by the way, everybody here, if you want to learn about like lighting and filmmaking and all that stuff, really awesome. Trago. Go check out the channel. It's really, really cool. You'll dig it. Roberto Blake in the house. What's up, dude? Saying, hey, and even if you get a shout out, if the gap in the quality is too big or the content isn't similar, then it can hurt more than it can help. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, Aaron's Great Outdoors says the goal of the channel is to have fun along the journey. And the question is, hey, I'm one of those who asked you on Instagram about the brand account. Is there any way you can say how to fix it? Man, I get tons of DMs, so I'm not sure which person you were. I know between like the Facebook group, Twitter, and Instagram, I've had like a few people reach out just recently that have been dealing with brand accounts. So I'm not sure which person. So if you are the one that Instagram. Yeah, so I think you might be the one that couldn't find like your channel profile or whatever. So your like pictures weren't showing up and things like that. When you create a brand account, it creates an account. So if you don't do it properly, then you have that new account, but like all the stuff from your channel isn't on that account. So then you have to go through the process of like, you know, adding your photo to it, channel art, content, all of that. If you already had a channel and then you moved it to a brand account and you lost all of that, you need to hit up YouTube support. You can go to Google and type in Google help pages, and then you'll see like something pop up. You can also access it down in your creator studio to where you can send messages to YouTube for support. And then they'll get back to you and, you know, you can start that dialogue of trying to fix it. But basically what you need to do is you need to hit up support, because if you've done that incorrectly, it's created that new asset and you've lost like the main stuff, but you've meant it to show up on your, you know, on your main one. Then you have to go through those channels in order to have them actually transfer everything over. We had to do that on my brother D's channel when his stuff was getting set up. All right. So let's see here. Lose weight. Sarah says, "Hey Nick, we've been trying to tell you that you missed a super chat earlier." Oh, okay. Yeah, I will. I'll hop in there right now. Give me a second. Let me refresh this. Thank you everybody for bringing that to my attention. Cheers. All right. So refresh this. Let me click into here. We got the Tarantula Collective. I think that's the one. Man, Tarantula Collective. So we're talking about shout outs, right? So Tarantula Collective, sorry. So he's in the members only group and he posted a video in there. Holy cow. This video starts up and it was like, damn, like I just got pumped up just like listening to the intro and like watching him come in and talk. Like the energy, like when he first comes into the video is just like off the charts. Okay, says, I'm starting a companion podcast for my channel. Any suggestions on which service I should use? Simplest, Podbean, Anchor, etc. So for my podcast, I use Captivate FM. And the reason for that is they're innovating a lot of stuff for the podcast world. So in terms of stats, you get a lot of really good stats over there. You also have things to where they make it really easy to share your podcast on social media and things like that. So for example, I have a redirect off of my website. Hey Keith, what's up? Nice to see you. If like I have a redirect off my channel. So if you go to comments over coffee, or not my channel, my website, if you go to commentsovercoffee.com/listen, then I have that redirecting to their page to where they make it to where you can share it on social media or whatever. I just choose to redirect it because it's just easy to remember that way. But basically it redirects to a page to where it shows your icon, shows like all the different places where you can download it, stuff like that. You can see an example. Just go to commentsovercoffee.com, listen, and you'll see that. But the thing with them is they're just doing a lot of really cool stuff like that. They even have like WordPress plugins to where things can like auto import into your website if you choose to do that. But they're doing all kinds of things like that, but they're like really pushing it in terms of trying to up the podcast game. So for that, I personally use Captivate FM. So because of that, of course, I'm going to recommend them to you because that's who I use. I used to use Spreaker, who was great, but it's just like a little bit limited in terms of the information they give you stat wise and all that. And that recommendation actually came from somebody else who does a lot of podcasting as well. But of course, Libsyn is also kind of like a famous one. But me personally, I just went with Captivate FM because I'm just a fan of people who like to innovate instead of like, hey, we got a product that works. Let's just keep making it work. I like people that are like, hey, we got a product that works. It's awesome. Let's see if we can keep pushing the needle. Like that's what I prefer when it comes to services. So that's why I went with them and they've been awesome. Okay, so Dr. Ratuja, I got that one too. Thank you. Doug says, let's see here. No, I meant promoting via Google Ads. Okay, so channel with 100 subscribers. Now it's promoting it. A good idea. Okay, promoting it with good Google Ads. Okay, so here's the thing. When it comes to Google Ads, yes, you can use Google Ads to promote a YouTube channel without question. Sure, it can bring in like viewers, it can bring in subscribers, all that good stuff, but you have to make sure that you can get an organic response first. So you got 100 subscribers, so you can get a little bit of more organic response, but just make sure that you have the ability to get people to click and watch for a fair amount of time on a regular basis, video after video after video before you spend the money. And the reason for that is because if you spend money on advertising anywhere, and you have people that subscribe to the channel just because you're spending money on advertising, so just based on numbers, some people are going to subscribe. And because of that, what can happen is that Doug says he can rest now. Oh, I love it. Thanks, Doug. But like if, can we get a high five for Doug? For keeping at it, like, hey, missed one. But basically, like, if you can't get that organic response, as soon as you turn off your advertising, if you haven't developed the ability yet or the skill set yet to get people to click on your titles and thumbnails and then watch your content for a fair amount of time, then your videos still aren't going to perform. So because of that, what's going to happen is you're going to put out that money, you're going to have people subscribe to the channel and all this activity is going to happen. You're going to stop running ads and then everything's just going to dry up because you haven't been, all those people that subscribed, when YouTube presents your content to them, some of them, then based on how they respond, is going to determine if it gets shown to more people. So because of that, if you can't get those people to click on your titles and thumbnails, then that ad spend that you did just went to waste. So because of that, you have to make sure that you're targeting your ads correctly so that you're getting your content in front of the right people. And you also have to make sure that you are able to get a organic response on YouTube so that once you turn that ad spend off, that the well doesn't dry up, so to speak. All right. So next up on our list, and I think another one came through as well.
Super
But while the page is loading for that one, Ronisha Space, thank you for the super chat, says, is it possible to transfer a video from my old YouTube account that I'm locked out of to my new channel? I have 35,000 views on that video. Unfortunately, no. So if you're locked out of that particular channel, what I would do is I would try to hit up support and try to find a way back into that channel if possible. But if you're completely locked out, then that particular video is a loss. I would just, if you have the original content, then in that case, I would do like an edit to it. So it's not the same exact thing, but I would do an edit to it. I would package it in a very similar way, if not the same way. And then I would publish that on the channel that you do have access to. And then we got D-Mogul as well. D-Mogul says, I'm going to check out Trego right now. I ended up deleting 50 videos off of my channel, changing my niche to focus on filmmaking, unboxing, and tutorials. Oh, you're going to love Trego. You're going to absolutely love Trego. Yeah, the approach is it's so fresh and unique. And he's just really good at putting content together. And you can tell by the, I was so impressed by Trego's content that I even became a Patreon. And I'm a Patreon of only like 4 or 5 people, and he's on that list because I was just like, wow, this is like fresh, it's new, it's like something that's just awesome. So because of that, I'm talking about this dude on like my videos. I'm like supporting him on Patreon, all that stuff, just because it's it's just awesome content. Let's see here. Marcial Rishinze. Hope I'm saying that right. I always feel bad if I'm not. Okay. Thanks for the advice. Looks like you're never too old for change. Absolutely. Okay. So Professor Nez in the house. What's up? Hope you are doing fantastic, my friend. Let's see here. So we got that. We've got that taken care of. And I think that brings us up to date, back into the form. Boom. Okay. So, and I just closed it on accident. Okay. So next up we got Aaron's next door or great outdoor stuff. Okay. Susie Vani says they upload when they have time. The channel is anything for women over 50. Goal is to help women over 50 look and feel more beautiful. And the question is, how do I get over the challenge of appearing on camera and being a perfectionist? I love this question. Who here, just out of curiosity, just give me a hashtag me, who here is not very excited about going on camera, or you fear going on camera? Give me a hashtag me. I'm just curious, because this is a great question. I get this a lot. DMs and stuff. Like I get this question all the time. And really quick, product creation formula.
Welcome to the Nimminati.
Welcome to the Nimminati. Make sure next time you get the chance that you're on Facebook, look for Nimminati VIP, fill out all the stuff on the way in. That's our members only Facebook group. Awesome community over there. And also there's some members only videos here. There's a link to it directly in the description of those to the Facebook group. And there's some free stuff for you in the community feed. You're gonna have to scroll a lot for it, but there's also some free stuff for you in the Facebook group as well. But in terms of getting over the challenge of appearing on camera and being a perfectionist, so we're gonna take a little walk down memory lane. And when I first started my YouTube channel, the very first video that I made was about how to overcome camera shyness. And the reason I made that video is because just like everybody who starts YouTube, like not everybody, but a lot of people when they start YouTube, they start making videos about the things that are, important to them at that point in time, or things they're dealing with at that point in time, or at that point in time or whatever. So at that point in time, one of the things the hurdles I had to overcome was like, I don't want to be that person on camera. Little did I know, right? But I was like, I don't want to be that person on camera. I don't want the judgment that comes from it. I don't want like friends and family to find out that I'm doing YouTube, all that stuff. And I had all these humongous barriers of hey, I just don't how am I going to get past this? And finally, I decided to do it. But in order to do it, I had to go through the process, like many of you, I'm sure, have as well. I had to go through the process of, reasoning myself through all of these hurdles and all these walls that I was putting up in front of myself about why I shouldn't be on camera. So as I was going through that process, I had to start really thinking through, what is it that's really keeping me off camera? Is it the fear of uploading videos and they're not doing well, and people finding out that I uploaded these videos and they didn't do well, and it makes me look like a failure? Is that what I'm afraid of? Am I afraid of putting the videos up there and people saying that I'm ugly, or saying that I sound stupid, or saying that making fun of the clothes that I'm wearing, or whatever it happens to be? What is it that I'm actually afraid of? of. And for me, it was judgment. That was the thing that I was afraid of, is I was like, like if my family or friends find out about this, or, like if people in the comments come in and they start like judging me and they're just like being rude and all this. And that was the thing that I had to overcome. And when I made that video, one of the things that I also reasoned myself through that got me onto camera in the first place was that, like right now, when I was thinking about starting a YouTube channel and thinking about going on camera, it was more about like, oh my gosh, I'm stepping into this new thing. But one of the things that I mentioned in that video is that, hey, Magic Prepper, thanks for swinging by, man. One of the things that one of the realizations that I came to was that, just like with anything new, when you first start, it's going to be, you might have a few people poking and prodding at you and all that stuff, like your closest friends are giving you a hard time. But then eventually, YouTube is just going to be something that you do, right? It's going to become normal. And then nobody's going to say anything about it, because then it's just that thing that you do and it's not a big deal. And I had to also explain that to myself. But one of the things that I also had to do is, because I was afraid of that judgment, is I also wore makeup when I first started my YouTube channel. So like I wore foundation to even out my skin tones. I used concealer underneath my eyes and around my nose, all the stuff that makes me look human. I basically used makeup to cover it up, because I saw that they were doing that on the news and stuff like that and on TV to make people look better. So I was like, okay, well, if I'm going on YouTube, they do it there, then maybe I should do it here. Maybe all the YouTubers do it. I don't know. So I started doing that in order to help me, I used it as a crutch of sorts to get me started. So in your case, I'm just sharing that with you just to let you know that you're not alone in terms of like, having problems with, being on camera and, all that good stuff. But like when it comes to the challenge of appearing on camera and being a perfectionist, first, the perfectionism thing, like you have to let it go. Like the one thing that I found, and I found it in my channel, and I found it rippled through friends' channels and clients' channels, and like this is all across YouTube. Other people even make videos about it, to where like the perfectionist side of things and the being afraid of the judgment and all of that. Like once you actually just do it and you're like, you know what, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to put it out there. I know it's going to suck when I first start. I know it's not going to be like the best that I'll ever do, but like in order to make this thing happen, I have to start taking steps in the direction of making it happen. And the very first step, of course, is uploading a video, and then uploading another one, and then uploading another one, and then uploading another one, in order to, get what it is that I'm after on YouTube, or to even become a YouTuber, or whatever it is that, that you're trying to do. So because of that, in order to overcome it, you have to just shake the perfectionism. You have to get things to a point to where it's like, okay, you know what? It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be good enough. So it doesn't have to be perfect when I'm just starting, because I'm going to embrace the idea that the first 50 videos that I make on my YouTube channel are probably not going to be that great. They might, but they might not also. The first 50 videos are going to be completely different than my 200th video. So because of that, I'm just going to embrace that idea and say, you know what? All I'm going to do right now is I'm not going to try to make everything perfect. I'm just going to try to get it good enough to to where my abilities are right now, to where I can just go ahead and start publishing content. And then one of the things that you're going to find is that, one, a lot of the things that you're worried about are just up here, and other people aren't even thinking the same way. And that when you do start putting out the content that you don't think is perfect, other people don't know. Because the thing is when you are putting out content that you think needs to be perfect, you're the only one that has that expectation or that knowledge of what perfect even looks like to you. But the people that are watching the content, they don't even know. They don't know what perfect looks like, because they're just seeing it for the first time without all of that stuff happening in the head. They're just experiencing what you made. They're not looking at it and knowing that it should be at this level based on your expectations. What they're seeing is just what they got, and then they're responding to it based on that. So you might come to find, and you probably will, because I've seen this happen a lot, is that when you start publishing the videos that aren't perfect, you're going to start finding like, wow, people actually like these videos. And then you're going to start questioning yourself, because you're going to be in like, you're going to think to yourself like, yeah, of course, I always want to keep getting better. But what I thought needed to be perfect in order to make it work, it doesn't need to be that perfect. It just needs to be at this level because people are loving this already. And in some cases, you might find that you go overboard to where it's like, hey, people are really responding to the stuff that I'm doing when I started, but now I try to make stuff so good that people just don't respond to it, because now it kind of loses that personal touch, because everything's like so awesome that people like stop responding to it. So, because of that, I just recommend that you just start embracing the idea that, you need to upload a lot of content on YouTube, and to really get an understanding of everything and to get everything like really moving. So in order to make that happen, just go ahead and start making content that's good enough get it out there, start that process of learning, because there's so much to learn with YouTube. And the only way that you can start learning it is by publishing content. And as you do that, you're going to continually get your workflow together better. You're going to start presenting better on camera because you're going to start noticing things that you do good or bad. You're going to start, even if you're doing like animations or gaming, you're going to start noticing that you do things better, in a certain way when you're doing your animations or when you're doing your gaming. You're just going to notice over time. And because of that, that's going to give you that compass in order to identify the things that you actually do need to improve on. So the best thing you can do is just start putting it out there anyway. Let's see here. Great stream. Got to run. Let's hit 600 likes on this stream in 3, 2, 1. Love that idea. Thank you for that. Have a great rest of your day. Let's see here. Mr. ABD says, I had an idea to count to 1 million. I know it takes a lot of time and effort. I'm ready to put in the time and effort. Will people see it? There's no guarantee. So, of course, like Mr. Beast did that, and it worked for him. But there's no guarantee that if you do it, it's going to work for you. So, it comes down to, one, you doing it. Two, how are you going to get attention to it? You got to think of, like, even though you might count to 1 million in the content, you got to think, like, what's my title going to look like? What kind of thumbnail would I make for me counting to 1 million that people might respond to? And you have to really think through that, and you have to, just give it your best effort. And then once you give it your best effort, then you can do stuff like, hey, how can I try to market this a little bit to see if I can get some traction on it? But the idea is that like the only way you're going to know is if you go through the process of doing it. Professor Nez says, cater everything to the viewer, major key to channel growth. Absolutely. It's the same thing. Like if you look at your, hey, Heidi, costume CEO in the house, what's up? So if you're looking for, and I just want to touch on this for a second. I'm glad you said this, Professor Nez, but he says, cater everything for the viewer, major key to channel growth. That's the same exact thing, right? Like when you're doing, like when people do business, they cater everything for the customer. You need to look at your YouTube channel as well and the videos that you're putting out like they're a product. And they're a product for a particular type of customer. And what you need to do is you need to keep fine-tuning your product so that the customer is like, wow, this is great. And then I'm going to tell my friend about it because it's so great, right? So you got to keep fine-tuning your product, your video, so that you can, or your product, your video, so that you can, so that you can create that great experience for people so that they will, keep coming back, share your content and all that good stuff. Mike Phillips in the house as well. What's up, dude? Hope you're doing great. So Amit Penchel says, hey, Nick, do you have any group classes coming up? So we are going to have I have a course that's launching very soon. And for that, we are going to have a specific Facebook group for that where you can ask questions, that kind of stuff. Right now, we have the channel membership where you can also get questions answered and that sort of thing. But in terms of group coaching specifically, as of right now, outside of the training, the additional training I'll be doing for the course, no. But for the course, like some of that stuff will be, a part of that. So definitely keep your eyes peeled for that because it's coming soon. Okay, so let's see here. Next up on the list is Susie Vanny. I think I did that one already. Did I do that one already? Beautiful. Okay, yep, we got that one. Okay, so next up we have Elizabeth Sampson. Did I go past one? We did. Okay. So next up, we have Primal. Primal says they upload every other day. They've been on YouTube less than 6 months. It's a gaming channel. And the goal of the channel is because I like making videos and playing games and also to monetize. And the question is, if you upload more than 2 times a day, does this increase your chances of, or does uploading quality every now and then a better strategy? Depends on how good you are at making content. Like 2 videos a day, that's a lot of content. It's a lot of work. But technically you get 3 notifications that can go out in terms of, people getting notified of your content. So because of that, technically you can do 3 and people can get notified for it. However, you have to think like, okay, the people that I'm trying to reach, do they have time to watch 2 videos a day? The thing that I'm trying to do with my YouTube channel, does it support 2 videos a day? My lifestyle, does it support 2 videos a day? And is it going to for the next 5 years? If the answer is like, yeah, I can do 2 videos a day for the next 5 years, then consider it. But with that, I would make sure that you are just keeping in mind that little details, like you're going to be competing with yourself on home pages. Some content's going to get prioritized over other content because you're just putting out so much content. Like for the people that are going to be watching your videos, like there's kind of like a certain amount of people that are going to be shown your content at first. So because of that, if you're just like brute force uploading, then you are going to be doing a lot of competing with yourself, to where instead of it being one video that's being shown to a lot of people because it's a high performing video, you're going to, you're going to possibly, depending on how, like if you're making just awesome videos with every single video, then those videos will keep getting seen. But personally, if you're just getting going, I wouldn't recommend doing 2 videos a day, just because there's so much to learn and there's so much time that you could spend out of that extra upload improving what it is that you're doing so that you can get a better response instead of just brute force uploading. Once you can get a response with every video that you upload and it's a great response, then feel free to upload more.
Superchat.
Pablo Fernandez says, I can't pull a Roger yet. So that's going to be a thing now. Says, can't pull a Roger yet, but I get your week's coffee. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Nick. How did you get here? Have a great week. Thanks, Pablo. So me, when I first came onto YouTube, I came on for the sake of basically my brother and I, we had a design service, media company, design service, whatever, where we were doing like media related services. And with that, we picked up some difficult customers and we were like, this is like, we don't want to do this anymore. What can we do? Neither of us had an answer. So we started exploring different things. One of those things for me was internet marketing. And that led me to YouTube through the idea that YouTube is a great way to collect emails. When I first started my channel, I had no idea what I was doing. I was making content on like how to overcome camera shyness, how to come up with video ideas, how to stay productive when you're working in a coffee shop, how to stay motivated, like that kind of stuff. And it's just kind of like variety, it's just all based on things that, that I cared about at the time. And that's what I started with. And after I made like a nice handful of videos, I got an opportunity to go work on another channel. I took it. That channel kind of lit my fire because I had that opportunity to work with somebody that knew what they were doing, which was a life-changing experience for me. Came back to this channel. And I realized, because I burned out on that other channel because I was trying to do like the design service plus 2 to 3 videos a week on that other channel. And that content took a long time to make. And plus I was new. So everything took longer anyway. And then, so I came back to this channel because I literally burned out in terms of like emotionally and all that stuff. So I came back to this channel because I caught the YouTube bug. I knew I wanted to do YouTube. I saw the tip of the iceberg. I didn't see the full potential, but I saw the tip of the iceberg. So I was like, yeah, this is something that I want to do. So then I built my website, tubertools.com, so that I could start spreading awareness about that, so that I could monetize YouTube quickly to get me out of the design service. So I did that. I was able to go full time on YouTube, like very quick, after I took that approach. And then from that point forward, I just went all in on YouTube, and different things, led to different things in terms of opportunities. And then I still at that point in time wasn't making like strategy type stuff, YouTube video creator specific stuff I was doing, because that's who I needed to get in front of in order to spread awareness about my TuberTools website. But it wasn't it wasn't like what it is now. So I ended up making a search engine video on how to rank videos in search. People loved that video, started asking me for more content like that, started making more content like that. And then the whole thing just kind of like snowballed from there to where I was like, hey, if this is what people are wanting, then I'm going to share experiences from where I'm at right now. And people started loving that content. And then from there, I had people started to hit me up that were wanting like consulting services, which is something that I didn't offer that. But people started hitting me up for consulting, and I was like, no, I don't do consulting, And then finally I told somebody, I was honest, and I was like, look, I don't do it because, I've never done that before. So because of that, it's not a service that I offer. And they're like, hey, I would love to be your first one. So I'm like, okay, yeah, let's try it. And then I worked with them. We had great results with them. And then another person. And I was like, wow, I'm really good at this. And then access to their channels gave me access to a lot more data on YouTube. And I started identifying things like, hey, the things that are working on my 2 channels or on one of my channels or the other channel, those don't necessarily work on some of these other channels. And the things that don't really work on my channels are working great on these channels. So it started opening up my eyes to the idea that not every single thing works exactly the same way for different channels, that they're all kind of like their own entities in a way. That's why I'm always stressing the importance of making sure that you're getting an idea of what's happening on your channel. You use the information that you get from me to apply it to your YouTube channel so you can start testing things, so you can figure out how your audience responds specifically to the different things, so you can decide on what it is that you need to move forward on. But That gave me access to a lot more information. And that also gave me tons of practice in terms of like, hey, let's try this. Let's try this. Let's dig into your stats. This is what the stats are telling me on your channel. So let's try this. And then things, they worked. So because of that, I, kept on that, gave me lots of data. And then I started sharing the things that were working not only on my channels, but the things that were working with clients as well on my channel, and just little things that we were doing. And I started sharing like best practice information as well, because even with that information, like there's still a lot of the basic stuff that people don't do. So I started sharing that kind of information as well in terms of just best practice stuff. And then it just kind of snowballed into what it is now. So super grateful. It's awesome. It's been an awesome opportunity. It's been an awesome ride. Like the experience that I've had because of my YouTube channel and all the awesome people I've gotten to know, all the opportunities that I've come across, all of the cool companies that I had the opportunities to work with, the stages that I've been able to stand on because of this, the whole thing has just been an incredible experience. And I like for everybody that's watching this right now, like I hope for those of you that are wanting to take this seriously, like I'm rooting for you, and I hope that you have a experience that's like mine or better, just because it's been an absolutely incredible experience the whole entire time. Okay, so hope that answered your question. So the next one that we have here on the list. Oh, and by the way, too, like that's why I sit in these live streams for like, hours and hours and hours and hours and hours too, because it's like, like this has been an awesome thing for me. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to help you guys, like the people, because, there's some people watching this that just like to hang out, but then there's other people that are watching this because they're like really wanting to turn this into something. And for me, like this has been such an awesome thing for me that I go out of my way to try to help other content creators as well, so that hopefully some of those people that I'm helping will also be able to have a really cool experience. So that's kind of, like what all of this stuff comes from, me sitting here for, 2, 3, 6, 7 hours, at a time, depending on if Dee's in town or not. That video is coming on Monday. Zane, I'm just experimenting with different days. So I've been doing Fridays for a while. So now I'm going to switch to Mondays for like a week or two. I just want to see if anything changes when I do. I'm always experimenting on my channel, Zane. So one thing you're going to notice is like sometimes you'll see like 2 videos in a week for like a couple of weeks, and then it'll go back down to 1. Sometimes there'll be like 3 videos that'll pop up and it'll go back down to 1. Sometimes it'll be 1 for a while, but they'll start popping up on different days. I'm always experimenting with stuff. Okay, so let's see here. Next up, we have... let's see here. Elizabeth Sampson, Daniel Batal in the house. What's up, dude? Hope that you are doing awesome. Welcome to the stream. Elizabeth Sampson says that the type of channel is art and healing. The goal of the channel is to inspire, educate, motivate, and get monetized. And the question is, I'm multi-passionate and I've niched down to start my channel. When is the best time to branch out? So when you're niching down, it's not about... And this is important for everybody to understand, because everybody thinks that when they niche down, and I've mentioned this in videos, but for those of you that are hanging out, you might not have seen those videos. So I'm going to say it again here. When it comes to niching down, it's important to make sure that you're not thinking of niching down as a limitation, because it's not. Hold on. Could you make more videos talking about mobile streaming, things to do to ensure that you have good internet connection? So, Elisa, my brother does an entire channel, Nimmin. If you look for him on YouTube, Nimmin. If you look for him on YouTube, he has an entire channel for mobile content creators. He has some mobile live streaming content specifically coming out. Definitely check him out. But you can also access, just as a heads up, so StreamYard, you can access StreamYard through your mobile device as well, and they do all the heavy lifting for you. So you just have to get your image from your phone to them, and then they pick it up from there, and then they actually handle the bandwidth and all that stuff. So give StreamYard a shot. But yeah, so what was I talking about? Oh yeah, niching down. Okay, so basically when it comes to niching down, a lot of people, they think of it as a limitation, and they think like, okay, well, if I'm niching down, that means that I can only make like this one type of content. And that's not the case at all. Like when you're niching down, the idea isn't that you're just making one type of content. It's that you're serving one audience, right? It means that you're serving like one particular type or one particular group of viewers. And the reason that you don't want to look at that as a limitation is because what you have to think about is, it's not that I just want to make videos about like, hey, I'm multi-passionate. Everybody's multi-passionate. Everybody likes a bunch of different stuff, right? So what you have to think about is you have to think about what is appropriate to put on my main YouTube channel that is a good fit for the audience that I'm trying to reach. Because what you don't want to do is you don't want to have a video about tech, then a video that's a vlog, and then a video about your trip to the store, and then a video about your hair, and then a video about quilting. Did it again. Quilting, and then a video about cooking, and then a video about this, that, and the other thing. Because what you're doing is you're not making content for anybody in that case. You're just putting out a bunch of videos onto YouTube. So what you want to do is you want to think about, okay, who is it that I'm trying to reach with my content, and what types of things are they interested in? And then once you identify that, then you start thinking of the different types of content that you can make that's a great fit for them. So for example, I'm targeting YouTube content creators. There's a little sidebar there, video creators, but really it's YouTube content creators, because everything that I talk about is YouTube based, even if it's about live streaming, right? So, but within that, I have the motivational stuff that I do to where I just, to where it's just more inspirational type content on YouTube and off on like Instagram and stuff. Make sure you're following me on Instagram, by the way, if you're not already. I've got a, you can see the name right here. Boom. But basically, I have the motivational type stuff that I do from time to time. They're kind of like rant videos, like, hey, come on, get it together type of stuff. Just kind of like, you can do this type of content. I have my YouTube tips type stuff, which is a great fit for YouTubers. I have my live streaming stuff, because a lot of YouTubers live stream. I have mobile content creation, because, people do stuff on their phone as well. And then I also do like collaboration videos with other people about like editing and that kind of stuff. I even have some editing videos on my channel as well, because that's another thing that is for YouTube content creators. I'm not saying that, hey, my channel's only video editing, my channel's only YouTube growth tips, my channel's only live streaming, because it's not. My channel is for YouTube content creators, which gives me the freedom to make content about anything that has to do with content creation, or, being a YouTuber or whatever. Some videos obviously are going to perform better than other videos based on the thing that, the majority of people care about versus the things that a majority of people don't care about. So the videos are going to perform differently, but I still have the freedom creatively to make content about anything, that any problems, any issues, any tech, any resources, anything that has anything to do with being a YouTube content creator. So what you need to think of is not necessarily that like I'm multi-passionate and I'm being limited. Think of it like, okay, I'm multi-passionate, so I need to think of an audience that I can reach that cares about, like a nice handful of things that I'm also passionate about. So you could do, like in your case, you could do specifically, let's say that, so you're starting your channel. So let's say that you're doing content. What type of content you're doing? Art and healing. Okay, so if you're doing art and healing, then in that case, what could you do? Yeah, I don't even know who you're trying to reach. Like if you're doing art and healing, like those are two totally different things, unless people are using art for healing. If they're using art for healing, then the people that you are trying to reach, the whole topic of your channel would be more about healing. And then any of the different avenues that you would walk about different types of content that you would make on your channel would be more about healing. But that content about like a vlog, unless it's about healing, wouldn't be a great fit. So a great example of this is a good friend of mine, Mike Russell. He has a YouTube channel called Music Radio Creative. So we were talking at Vid Summit, and he was making vlogs about his travels to the States with his audience. And he was like, yeah, these vlogs just aren't landing. So even though they didn't perform as well as the other content on his channel, I'm like, well, instead of just making vlogs about, hey, here's my trip to America, start making vlogs about, hey, I'm in a hotel room and I'm recording in a hotel room. How do I make the best audio possible in a hotel room? So then in that case, he's able to share his like vlog style content, but it's more, and make videos on the road, but it's more about still adding that same value to the audience about, hey, if you're in this scenario, this is how you actually, make good audio if you're in a hotel room, right? And he started making content like that, and people started responding to it better because it's for that audience, right? So it's for that same audience. It's not for a different audience. And so it got that better response. So that's what you have to think about. Hope that made sense. I beat on that horse for quite some time. Okay, so let's see here. We've got Amit Panchal. I hope I'm saying your name right, man. Says, I've been stuck on 6,000 subs for my chess channel with the name of Amit Panchal with slow growth. Can you advise something for growth or improve for me? Okay, so what you want to do is go, if you've been stuck at 6,000 subscribers, then what you want to do is you want to go and you want to find the content that has been performing for you, not the content that's driven the most subscribers, but the content that's been bringing in the most views over the last like 28 to 90 days. Doesn't matter if the content's older, if it's newer, whatever. You want to see the content that's basically driving all the activity on your YouTube channel, and you can see that inside of your stats. And you want to start making more content that's based on those types of things. Specifically, those types of things, because those are the things that people are responding to around chess, around your specific YouTube channel. So that's what I would recommend to you first, without like looking at your channel, without going into your stats and all that. Like that would be step number one of what you would do, because people are clearly responding to that content. That's what they're interested in. You want to get them clicking on it and coming back to you, or coming back to the channel. This is the idea behind this. You want to get them clicking on it, coming back to the channel, because if people are clicking on it a lot and they're coming back to the channel and they're enjoying those videos, then YouTube is going to go try to find more people for you. Those people are going to come in, they're going to enjoy your content, they're going to subscribe to your channel. So because of that, I would look at that content that's performing and try to think, okay, what can I make that those people would watch next? What can I make that those people would also enjoy with this? What can I make that is similar to what it is that that they responded to here with these pieces of content, these 10 videos that are driving the channel right now? Veronica's World says, hey, I just started making reaction videos and I was wondering if you could review my channel and give me any advice. Veronica, I'm actually not looking at channels today. I did a couple of channels last week, but I'm not looking at channels today. So I'm going to start doing it from time to time, but today is not one of those days. I'm just focusing on answering questions specifically today. Let's see here. And I think another one came through. Let me answer that one really quick. Okay, Atheno.
Superchat.
Atheno says that my TikTok blew up. Congratulations. And my viewers came and subbed to my YouTube. Now they don't watch my videos. And it lowered my CTR from 15 to 2%. What should I do? First, Atheno, instead of looking at your CTR, let me show you. And instead of looking at your CTR from the perspective of a whole number of 15% down to 2%, first, look at the impressions that you're getting, because if you get a lot more impressions, then typically it will drive your your click-through rate down. Sometimes a little bit, sometimes a lot. But it's because it's being shown to more and more people, and as it shows it to more and more people, some of those people become less and less qualified. Therefore, it drives your click-through rate down. So if you're getting like lots of impressions, then it can drive that down. So what you want to do is you want to go and you want to look and see where your traffic is coming from, and see what took a hit. So it might not necessarily be that those people, oh man. Oh, there we go. Whoa. Come on, Dell. It might not necessarily be that those people aren't responding to it. It could be, but it might not necessarily be that those people aren't responding to it. It could just be that the traffic sources that you were getting that basically the traffic sources that you do get a response from are exceptionally high compared to other ones. So for example, like typically like channel pages have a higher click-through rate. Suggested videos typically have a lower click-through rate. So because of that, just restarted the computer. So because of that, you have to, you need to go in and you need to say, okay, well, the 15%, where's that coming from? So do I have did I have during the time I had 15% across the channel during that time, did I have like a lot of people coming in from the channel page, a lot of people coming in from browse? Did I have one video, if you're looking at it at the channel level, did I have one video that had a great click-through rate and it changed the click-through rate for the whole channel? It made it better, whereas now for the entire channel, it's down. So another thing you want to do is you want to go in and you want to look at the videos that you've published recently since you got that push on TikTok. You want to look at those videos and you want to see if those particular videos are getting what type of response those videos are getting in terms of the click-through rate, watch time, and all of that. Because another thing to keep in mind is even though your click-through rate might be down, it also, the videos themselves might not be performing well, because if they're actually are coming in and watching some of those videos, but then they're leaving, then that can end up hurting the retention on those videos, or the performance of those videos. Okay, give me 1 second here. I'm opening this up. Okay, we are doing traffic sources. So I'm going to show you guys something really quick. So I'm gonna show you a graphic of what it is that I was just talking about, so I can take you step by step through what it was that I was just talking about. I'm just looking for the right presentation so I can show it to you. Let's see here, file. I'll do this one. This one might do it. Okay, growing your business and revenue with YouTube. Okay, let me scroll down. I'm going to find this one here. I'm going to show you exactly what I mean by going deeper. Okay. Okay, so first, and I'll just do this. And then let me hit go here and let's see what shows up. Oh man, come on. Got to fast forward through all this. I should have just done it on this slide. Okay, so we're getting close. Okay, click-through rate. Okay, so when it comes to your click-through rate, some things that you want to keep in mind. So basically, when it comes to your click-through rate, a lot of people look at this number. They'll look at it on the channel and they'll be like, oh, well, this is what I need to focus on. But what you need to do is you need to actually look at that number on a per video basis. Okay. And when you're looking at that on a per video basis, you have to say, okay, well, this is the number that YouTube is showing me, right? So because of that, I'm going to be thinking in my brain, like, hey, this is how this video is performing like overall, or this is the click-through rate overall. But what you want to do, 1 second. Anyway, I just want to show you a quick difference, right? So this 116,000 views on this, 5.3% click-through rate with a 2-minute average view duration compared to 12.6 click-through rate with 6 million impressions instead of 1.5. They're still able to maintain a 12.6% click-through rate and an 8-minute average view duration on this. So that video has, over 1 million views on it, right? So I'm just showing you the difference there. But basically what you want to do with your click-through rate is you want to go deeper for the source. So for example, you just go down into the See More, and then you click on Traffic Source. And you can do this on a mobile device, or you can do it on a computer. But then once you're inside of that See More, then you go into the actual traffic source. And then on the traffic source, for whatever source that it is that you're trying to determine the click-through rate, then you just look over here and you see the impressions click-through rate for that source. And then, of course, the impressions, which is being covered up by the arrow right now. I'll move it. But you also want to look at the impressions and take that in consideration as well. But you always want to look here for your click-through rate. So for example, if you're trying to show up on more like home pages, then you need to be paying attention to your click-through rate on your browse features. If you're trying to show up next to other videos on the platform more, if you're trying to tap into that suggested traffic, then in that case, you got to be looking, more at your click-through rate in the watch time that you're generating from suggested traffic and keep trying to improve those. If you're trying to rank videos in search, of course, then you need to be looking at YouTube search, and you need to be looking at the click-through rate that you're getting from YouTube search specifically. So what you have to do in these situations is you have to make sure that you are, that you're factoring these types of things in. So for example, let's see here. This is a bad example, actually. If you go down to like channel pages, then in this particular case, when it's down on, can I take the mouse over here? Oh, I can. Look at this. Fantastic. Okay. So when it's down on channel pages, this one's actually like pretty low. But in a lot of cases, like on a smaller channel, you'll see that the click-through rate coming from the channel page is pretty high. And since the click-through rate coming from the channel page is high, even if some of these are low, it will kind of offset that click-through rate. So because of that, it makes it kind of inaccurate data that you're looking at when you're looking at it as a whole. So of course, you want to see it as a whole because you want to just get a general idea. But, if you want to be really strategic about it, then you want to look at it from a, like, where is it actually getting clicked from? And how do I get my mouse back over here? But you want to look at like how, where is it actually getting clicked from, and what's going on, there. How can I improve that? So let me close this down again really quick. Shut down. Okay. All right. I'll plug this back in here. Booyah. Okay, so hopefully that made sense. But the idea,
Super chat.
Hades 101, thank you for the super chat. But the idea is that you really want to, you really want to break it down per traffic source. And I know I went kind of like on a rant there, so I'm going to look at your question again really quick just to make sure that I answered everything that you said here. TikTok blew up. Now they don't watch my videos. Lowered CTR from 15 to 2. What should I do? Okay. Yeah. So also with your CTR, keep in mind that like initially YouTube shows it to, those people that are, recently interacting with your channel, but they also show it to people that aren't. So they show it to people based on their predictions of who would be the most likely to watch it. So because of that, you also need to go in. You can see in your stats for every video that you publish. You can even see this on your mobile, but you can see, I'll show you right now. So if you go into your YouTube Creator Studio app, which every one of you should have because it's put out by YouTube, it's free. And and it basically gives you stats on your phone. So it's just one more thing that you can stare at your phone for. But basically, when you go into your stats, one thing that you should be looking at if you had a lot of people come over from TikTok that are subscribed and you're basing it on them, one, you can actually sort that inside of your stats when you're looking at that other information too. But one of the things that you are going to notice, hold on really quick. Is that when you go in and you start looking at what? Hold on. Oh, that's right. That's right. Here, it's not on they don't show it to you on the mobile. You have to do it on a desktop. So they show you like on the channel as a whole, but they don't show on the specific videos. But I'll just show you here though, just so you can see what it is that I'm talking about. But basically, like if you look, and you can break this down specifically inside of your analytics on the computer. But they show you your watch time from subscribers. So you can see here, like on my case, I've got like 67%, and this changes, but like here, I've got like 67% of my watch time is coming from people that aren't even subscribed to the channel. Right. So because of that, you want to go in on your specific videos, your recent content that you're blaming TikTok for. You might be right. You could be right. But you just want to go in and you want to confirm it with the data. So you want to go in and you want to break that down to see how people are responding, subscribed versus non-subscribed. Because if it's subscribers, then in that particular case, then yeah, it's them hurting. But if it's people that are not subscribed that are coming in and watching it anyway, well, actually, no, because that's just people that are watching it. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's getting late. It's like 11 o'clock here. Yeah, so scratch everything that I just said. But that will tell you people that are non-subscribers, people that are subscribed that are watching the videos. So technically, you could look at that as, or any of my subscribers coming in and watching this, but you wouldn't be able to take it down to TikTok specifically. You say my audio keeps clipping in and out or my video keeps clipping in and out? I have it playing on the TV over here and it seems okay. Is everybody else experiencing that too? All glitching here too. Okay. Yeah, might be a YouTube thing or something with my internet. Definitely possible. Veronica's World also said, hey, I was just starting to make reaction videos and I was wondering if you could review my channel. Oh, okay, I did that one already. Okay, so that brings us up to here. Okay, fantastic. Okay, so as we keep going here, Josh says that the channel is learning Korean in daily life. The goal of the channel is to learn Korean and hold myself accountable. The question is, how do I know if my videos are being shown to random viewers and not just my very few subscribers? So if they're getting shown to them, you don't know. But when they come in and watch, that's the dilemma we just had. If they come in and watch, then you'll be able to tell, if they're a subscriber or not, based on the percentage that they give you of subscribed views, watch time, or non-subscribed views or watch time. Mobile 2, probably just for mobile. Fine on your end. How to find? Okay, so Shadow X Free says, how do I find someone to edit for? First off, you need to put together a portfolio. That's step one. If you don't have a portfolio, you got to make one. So you need to find somebody that you can edit for free, or you need to edit your own videos for free so that you can have a portfolio. From there, you need to go into places like Reddit. They have like a for hire section. You can go in there. They have a creator services section. You can go in there. You can also post in like NewTubers and YouTubers and our group. If you're editing, if you're a good editor, you can post in the RY Tubers. That's our subreddit over there. So you can post in there as well. But basically, you got to have a portfolio together, because as soon as you make a post anywhere, people are going to say, "Show me a portfolio." And if you can't, then you're not going to get hired. So because of that, you definitely need to put a portfolio together. So Pablo says, hey, are you doing this? Are you streaming this with, and Roger is actually looking for editors in Dallas. So if you just, by some weird chance of luck, you happen to be in Dallas, then Roger's actually looking for people right now. A plugin for animated text. If you are using Final Cut Pro, I know that they have some plugins for that. For Premiere, I'm not sure. And for everything else, I'm not sure as well for actual plugins. So once you're in the Facebook group, the members only Facebook group, I would ask that there, because there's people in there that would be able to help with that for a bunch of different people using different software. I think, well, no, because you're looking for a plugin. You're not looking for editing software. So yeah, first you got to just, when you ask that question in the group, just make sure you put your editing software. So Pablo, no, I'm not doing this in OBS. I'm doing this inside of StreamYard. So basically, this is what it looks like on my end. So it's going to get this little tunneling effect. But basically, if you look over here, it has like the chat comments over here. I can start in the broadcast here. I have the branding area here where I can add like different things to the screen, for example, where I can have like the branding thing for the sponsors. I can add my social media stuff. I made this comments over coffee thing. I have a little tag down here that goes in the bottom, letting people know that this show's here every Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern. You can have like video clips for countdowns. You can change backgrounds. You can invite guests in here as well. So like with the guests, like for example, if I wanted to send somebody a link, then I can basically bring them in just by hitting this invite button. And I hit this invite button, copy the link, send it to them via email or chat or something, and then it brings them in. They just come right in, which is awesome. But yeah, all the way around, this is the easiest live streaming software I've ever used in my entire life. But yeah, this is it's called StreamYard. Is the name of the software. You know what? I think maybe by showing that, I might have actually just shown how to get in here. I'm not sure or not. But anyway, I have to let people in. So you actually have to like let people in. So if anybody saw that URL, like if you have like a good camera and good audio setup, if you want to just swing in and say hi, I might let you in. Maybe. if you're like a regular in the community, I might let you in. But if you are, if you're not, then like I don't know you yet. So got to make sure people are cool before they come on the stream, right? Okay, so next question that we have, and if you do come in, if that does let you in, then I'll see you pop up on the bottom. So let's see here. Dented Code is our next question, and it's teaching programming and web development. The goal of the channel is helping people to become a full stack web developer. And the question is, what's the best time to post a video for? What's the best time to post the video for educational videos? So YouTube gives us a stat inside of our analytics that shows us when people are most active on the platform. They do not say. Shayantan Mukjuri, thank you for that. I appreciate it. But one thing they don't say one thing that they say, is that they tell us that the basically, like when you publish a video, of course, it's important to get as much velocity on that as possible in terms of, like they publish and you get as many views as possible, as fast as you can. For example, Roger, who's in the chat right now, he published a video recently showing a bunch of Ortiz, I think they're called. He dumped like 50,000 of them into a drain, and within a day, he had like 90,000 videos or views on it, I think it was. So like him, he's got great velocity, is what we call that. He's got great velocity on the video. However, if he would have published that video and that video would have gotten 10,000 views, that doesn't mean that 3 months from now, it wouldn't just take off out of nowhere and get tons of views also. So basically what YouTube has said is that you want to publish when your audience is online so you can have that initial, so you can basically, hey, I just published a video, here it is, and those people are online. So if you think about what I told you before in terms of how YouTube works, like when you publish a video, it's not pushing your content out to try to find viewers, it's showing your content to people that it's predicting are most likely to watch it at that point in time, starting with the people that are most interactive with your channel. So what happens in that situation is when you publish that video when people are online, then you're increasing the likelihood of, more of those people being good candidates for your content and then them coming in and watching your videos. So that's why it's a good idea to publish when they're online. But you can see this inside of your analytics in terms of, the right time to publish. But even if you publish on an off time, that doesn't mean that your video is not going to perform well over the long term. It just means that it might take a hit right when you first publish the video. Good software editor for iPad. I use Video Leap on mine. I use that on my phone and I use it on my iPad for like cutting up like YouTube stories, Instagram stories, like that kind of stuff. I just find it just super easy to use in terms of just, like long hold this, drag it out, that kind of stuff. So I just find it really easy to use. Doug is saying he uses LumaFusion on his for the iPad as well. Yeah, I know that one's also like a full functioning thing as well. So yeah, take a look at both of those for sure. Let's see here. Leva Mirza says that they upload when they have time. The type of channel is games, but I'm going to try to do everything. And the goal of the channel is I was 25 subs, and but I smashed that in a week. So my goal is 50 by the end of the year, and I hope people enjoy my vids. That's the goal. And the question is, I want to know, how do I get more people to sub and get a fan base? I just started last week, going well so far. Okay, you started last week. You got 25 subscribers already. You're off to a great start. Keep going. Okay, keep going. Just keep doing what you're doing because it's working. People are responding to what it is that you're doing. You went from 25, you smashed that in your first week, and then your goal is 50 by the end of the year. You're definitely going to hit that if you got 25 in your first week. So just keep going. Right. Just keep going. Keep doing what you're doing because it's working. So I'm not going to tell you like, hey, do this, because like you're on the right path already. So sure, there's going to be stuff that you can fine tune, but just keep going right now because you just started last week. Keep making videos. Keep making videos. But the one tip that I will give you is make sure that if you're doing stuff on your phone or if you're doing stuff on your computer, whichever one you have access to or both, make sure that you're paying attention to your analytics. Pay attention to your analytics because they are the roadmap to your YouTube success. So pay attention to your YouTube analytics because they're going to show you exactly how people are responding to the different things that you're doing. So if I had one tip to give you for Levi Mirza, if I had one, hey there. If I had one tip to give you, it would be to learn your YouTube analytics because that will pave the path, so to speak, for you. I don't know how I did that. Like one finger ended up pressing that. Okay. Next, we've got Caven Hagen Investing. Caven Hagen Investing says that it's an investing channel. The goal of the channel is to show my journey and to encourage and educate others to start investing. Good mission you're on there. Says, should I use an external microphone when using an iPhone as a camera? If so, which one and how? Thanks. Okay, so if you're using an iPhone as a camera, I do recommend using an external microphone, even though they're okay. You need to make sure that you're keeping track of your lighting and making sure everything looks good. There's an app called Filmic Pro that will help you do that. It basically helps you dial everything in kind of like a DSLR in terms of just like fine tuning your exposure and all that good stuff. But that's called Filmic Pro. So I definitely recommend that. In terms of a microphone, you have lots of different options for iPhone. So there's one, it's called a Shure MV88. It's like a $300 mic, but it's fantastic. My brother actually has mine right now and he's stuck in Mexico, so I won't see that for a while. But you can also use a Boya BYM1. It's a lavalier mic, but you're going to have to get one of these in order to convert the 3.5 millimeter jack so that it's compatible for the phone. But it's actually not this that you're going to need. They make one of these that's for an iPhone, or you're just going to have to use it with your iPhone dongle thing. In order to get it in there. They also have a video mic mini that's also, really low profile microphone. It's made by Rode. That's also a good choice for that.
Superchat.
Tatine says, hey, Nick, it's Stream More. What will happen with watch time from a live stream if I will make the video unlisted later? So when you make a video unlisted, what happens is when you make a video unlisted, it basically removes all of your public watch time. So you don't lose the watch time from your views necessarily, but it's public watch time. So it doesn't count towards like monetization or anything like that. So when you make a video private, or if you make, Zane says that the Boya now comes with 2 jacks in the pack. Fantastic for phones. But yeah, so when you make a video private, when you make it private, when you unlist it, as soon as you take it out of public view, then you lose the public watch time on that. All right. So let's see here. Next up on our list, we have Anton and Sinon. I hope I'm saying that right. Anton and Sinon says they upload 1 time per week or more to travel content. And the goal of the channel says, I love to travel and love to share the adventures with people while showing France to everyone. And the question is, how would you go about promoting a travel channel that is focused on one country in particular? We live in France and would like to share adventures around this country that are beyond cliche places. Thank you. So I would make the content around the area. So basically I would go for the cliche places so that you can bring people in, because those cliche places are the things that people are initially looking for. So you need that bait, so to speak, right? You need that bait. So you would use those as your hooks in the water with the bait on them to bring people in to be able to easily find your content. And then that would give you the opportunity to actually show them the stuff that isn't as popular. So that's what I would do at first, is I would start making content on those, but let people know. We're also showing, content, or we're also showing places that, are a little bit more unknown. So we're showing you all of France. We're not discriminating. If it's popular, we got it. If it's not popular, we got that too, because we want you to see all of the awesome stuff when it comes to France.
If you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend right now.
Yeah, so if you haven't yet, if you're enjoying this stream, if you're getting any information, you're having a good time, if you learned anything at all, please give this video a thumbs up. It helps me know, after the stream, I go and I look back and it kind of lets me know like, hey, did they like this? Did they not like this? Just kind of keeps me on track, making sure that I'm, making the stuff that you care about. So if you haven't yet, give it a thumbs up. And if you gave it a like already, high five and fist bump to you. All right, next up, see here, Anton Sinan. We go about that one. Yep. Okay, so next up on this one, we've got, okay, so hold on, Super Chats came in.
Super Chat.
Okay, Shantan Makarji, hope I'm saying that right. It says, hey, Nick, how can I get views and subs for my channel dealing in entrepreneurship and development? 115 is now. Okay, so in terms of getting views and subscribers, what you got to think about is, one, you got to get them to click, you got to get them to watch. But at the top of that is topics. So what you got to think about, since you're targeting entrepreneurs, then you have to think about, okay, what topics do entrepreneurs care about? And you have to make videos on those particular topics. You want to start with topics that, a lot of people are making videos about, because then that's going to give you a lot of opportunities to get suggested next to other videos. But in order to get suggested and continue to get suggested, you have to be able to develop the art of getting people to click on your titles and thumbnails and then come in and watch your video for a competitive amount of time. And the reason that that's important is because the way YouTube works, if you can't get people to click and watch your videos for a competitive amount of time, then out of the options that YouTube has, either under a video on a phone or next to a video on a computer, with the options that YouTube has to show people that content, as soon as your video stops performing, they're going to move your video out and they're going to put another video in its place that does perform, or they're at least going to test it. And if it performs, they're going to keep that one. If it doesn't, they're moving that one and they're going to put another one there. And that process is going to keep going in real time, for a really, really long time. So because of that, you have to be able to get people to click and watch in order to get them to come into what it is that you're doing. But at the top, like I said, you got to think topically. What entrepreneurs care about? What are the obstacles they have? What are the problems they have? What are the things that I can help entrepreneurs with? And I'm going to make just tons of content on that. I'm going to target some of it in search. Some of it I'm going to make specifically for the sake of showing up in search for Google, some showing up in search for YouTube. I'm also going to make some videos that I'm not even thinking about search. I'm just thinking of discovery as a whole. And I'm just going to try to get people to click on this one on homepages next to other videos as much as possible. And I'm also going to try to be creative and come up with ideas that I can think of that might be entertaining for entrepreneurs as well as informative, and see if I can find a way to, match those two formats together so that I can create, kind of a new experience, if possible, for the entrepreneurs that you're trying to, reach. Next up, we've got the Reaper.
Super Chat.
Says, hey, Nick, do you have a suggestion change my name to Heavy Metal Chef? Is it part of my... it is part of my slogan. Put up a 4-minute video encouraging comments. What do you think? Okay, so I wouldn't put up 4 minutes to just for the sake, like I wouldn't put up a 4-minute video just saying like, hey, you should leave comments. I think I might have misunderstood that, but I definitely wouldn't do that. But in terms of changing your name, I think that something like that, or just the Reaper, something like that without the numbers on it would be easier. But like if you're thinking like long term and you're like, hey, this is something that I want to do for like a long time and I want to build a brand around what it is that I'm doing, then in that case, like definitely just really think out your name, because you want to make sure that it's available on social media platforms. You also want to make sure that it's not like trademarked anywhere. And then you want to think like, okay, long-term, people are going to start to know me as the Heavy Metal Chef. So because of that, like, do I want to be known as the Heavy Metal Chef? If so, then, if you want to change your name, then, that might be a good fit. Or just coming up with something else that would just be really easy to remember, something that's a little bit more brandable than the Reaper 777.
Super Chat.
Mega Tedursa says, hey, Nick, when I post a video, it doesn't do that great, but over time, it gains a great amount of views in search. How do I get more views up front? So basically, when you're putting out your content, you're probably targeting search with it. So since you're targeting search, you're probably titling the video or packaging the video from the outside in a way to where it's going to perform better in search. However, what you're not considering is like, hey, how do I make this more compelling so that people will click on this wherever they happen to see it on YouTube? And ultimately, that's what you want to do. You want to think, okay, when I'm putting my titles, my thumbnails together, it's not just about ranking in search. Search is awesome. You can get lots of traffic from search, but it's about discovery. So when I'm putting my content together, it's about my content surfacing on YouTube and all of the different features. And then when it surfaces on YouTube and all the different features, it's about my ability to get people to click on that. Like, what is it that I can add? So of course, I'm sure you're adding like your search phrases in your keyword or your keywords and your search phrases to your keyword phrases. There we go. Sorry, I've been talking for a while, but your keywords and your keyword phrases, I'm sure you're adding those to your titles, which is helping you rank. But then you have to think, okay, in addition to that, I need to think of how I can make my titles and my thumbnails more compelling so that even though my videos are ranking in search, they're also going to get a response on home pages, getting recommended next to other videos. Because the problem is, if you're putting out content and people aren't responding to it initially, that means when YouTube is recommending it to people, they're not clicking on it, which means that it's not compelling enough for them to want to click on it. So even though you're winning in search, you have to think like, how can I take that and then apply a compelling element to it, either in the thumbnail, title, or both, so that people will click on it more when it gets presented to them on homepage and suggested. And when that happens, then you'll start getting more traffic right out of the gate when you first publish your video, because you're able to generate that higher response because you're making your titles and your thumbnails more compelling, or you're just choosing, more compelling topics that you're making your videos about that just generate a higher response also. Hey, we got Roberto Blake back in the house. What's up, man? Hope that you are doing awesome. Yeah, I'm actually, so Roberto, Curl Addict says, hey, was Roberto going live with you today? I'm actually going to be logging off here in just a few minutes. So although it's always awesome to talk to Roberto and I would love to have Roberto on, and I know you guys are probably like, yeah, bring Roberto on. I'm actually going to be shutting down here in just a few minutes. So because of that, just so he doesn't have to like set up his gear and all that just for a few minutes. Yeah, I'm rolling solo today on this one. But I would like to have him on next week. That's an open invite, Roberto, if you'd like to come back next week. But just as a heads up, though, I got links to Roberto down in the description. So if you don't know who Roberto is for some reason, then definitely go down and check out those links and check him out. Hey, Roberto, man, I just did a presentation yesterday for a social media summit. And I used you as an example in there. So I put, it was about using the community feed for, the whole thing was about like using YouTube for, to increase your business and generate revenue. And I was showing people like, also how to like link to different things and all the different options they had inside of YouTube. And so I took a screenshot of your community post where you show the Awesome Creator Academy. And it has like your URL, awesomecreatoracademy.com. It has like your promo code in there. And I took that screenshot and put it in the presentation. So that's in there, by the way, just a heads up. Okay, so next question is from Mr. Alaz versus Cancer. And the question is, all the type of channels, motivational and encouraging others. The goal of the channel is to uplift people who face similar circumstances I'm facing through testimonies. And the question is, any advice to reach out Spanish and English speakers? I have 2 playlists. Should I consider opening a channel devoted to a specific language? Absolutely. So what you don't want to do is you don't want to have one channel with 2 different languages because you're working against yourself. What you want to do is you want to make sure that you have one language on one channel so that when your videos are getting recommended to people and they're clicking on them, the people that are the most involved in your channel, then in that situation, what you're doing is when they click on them, they come in, they get the language that they speak instead of getting a language they don't speak, which will then cause them to leave. So absolutely, without question, I recommend that you are that you're making a language, or that you're making videos for one language on one channel, and then from there, if you want to, then have another channel for the second language. All right, next up on our list, we have Ronesia's Space. Ronesia's Space says that they have a faith and inspiration channel. The goal of the channel is to encourage people release prophetic words in dating as a Christian. And the question is, how do we share screens on our laptop or phone like you just did? What's the easiest way to make an end screen without copying someone? I like using Canva because I'm familiar with it. Okay, so when it comes to end screens, you can use like Canva, you can use placeit.net. You can get them from tubertools.com. We have them over there as well. You can use Roberto Blake's Awesome Creator Academy, YouTube Starter Kit as well. You got a bunch in there. And in terms of sharing screens on the laptop or phone, basically my setup here, let me switch back to this camera. So my setup here is I have one computer underneath the desk here that is basically where the stream is actually coming from. So that particular computer is, pushing the stream up to StreamYard, and then it's going out to you. Now, I also have, I'll move this so you can see it. But back here, I also have this device. This device here is called an ATEM Mini, and basically, like what it really is, it's like an HDMI switcher. Really, it's really what it is. But it's just like a push button thing, so I can switch different sources. So that allows me to have that camera, this camera here, and I can just push the button and switch to them. But another thing is I have the laptop right here, and the laptop, I have one of the HDMI ports coming out of here plugged into the laptop, and then I have the like when I do the presentation stuff, then I have that as an extended screen that goes into the ATEM Mini, which is plugged into the desktop under the computer or under the desk, and then that pushes it through with the screen. So on a phone, you would do the same exact thing, except you would plug it in via HDMI. Now, another thing as well is inside of StreamYard, you can also just hit a button that says share your screen. And when you click that button that says share your screen, then what that does is that actually just shares your screen, right? So because of that, that's how you actually do it. All right, everybody. So I'm going to go ahead and shut it down. My girlfriend and I are waking up early tomorrow. We have some stuff that we have to do. So we are going to go ahead and shut this down. I just want to thank everybody for hanging out in the live stream today. I hope you learned something. Make sure you hit the like button on the way out. And I hope that, you got some value out of the stream today. I hope you learned something. What is most important out of everything, for those of you that haven't left yet, what's most important is that anything that you learned today, put it into practice, right? Put it into practice, go try it on your channel, experiment, see how it actually works on your channel. Because like if you hear the information, but you don't apply it to what it is that you're doing, or you don't try it, then you're not, trying to improve in that situation. So what you want to do is you want to take some of the information, the stuff that resonated with you, and you want to apply it to what it is that you're doing so that you can try to just always continue week after week as we're doing this. You just want to keep applying the stuff to your channel so that you can be one of those many people that stop by and they're like, hey, Nick, my channel's doing better now. My channel's doing better now. My channel's doing better now. You want to be one of those people. So make sure that you take the information that you've heard and that you apply it to what it is that you're doing. So besides that, everybody have an awesome week, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. And I will see you next Saturday.
Thanks for watching Nimmin Live, brought to you by TubeBuddy. Remember to follow us on your favorite social media platforms. Have a great week.